my mic.
You're unmuted.
Testing
And
my
you're
mic.
unmuted.
All right,
Okay.
cool. Hello everybody. Welcome to the finals. Do you want to pull up the? I think they're getting started. Oh, is it already pulled up? I could only see us. There we go. Cool.
You see what I see.
We are getting started for the finals of the Star Wars CCG 2023 World Championship. I am Joe Olson, a Rebel spy. I am joined by
Jeff Levine, Treadwell on Jump.
and we are going to be your guest commentators here for the finals. You are watching in the upper right corner camera. There is Hayes Hunter, and he is at the top of the screen playing that Obi Muning deck you might have seen earlier in the semifinals. Down at the bottom left, Casey Annis is the player playing Hunt Down at the bottom of your screen.
Okay, so Joe, who got to pick what side they want to play first?
Casey was the higher seed. He picked the side and he picked Hunt Down.
All right. So what's each player trying to do in this matchup generally?
Good question. So Casey, as Hunt Down, is going to want to do fast pressure. He's going to want to get Vader out and flip in order to have his objective flipped back. While he's flipped, he won't be losing Force to Visage of the Empire, and Hayes will lose at the end of both players' turns. In order to flip him back, Hayes needs to have Luke or a Jedi at a site. The deck is restricted to only playing Yoda as the only Jedi, so either Yoda or Luke will flip back Hunt Down, but otherwise, Hunt Down will be on the flip side. So Casey wants to get Vader out, be flipped, start doing drains and damage, and Hayes is playing a sort of goofy version of Obi Muning with shield busting. So he's going to want to play a bunch of degenerate cards.
Wacky degenerate cards.
Like Gunite, Revo, Beggar, and get Casey to run out of shields and try and abuse things that way. Um, one disclaimer I want to mention: both Jeff and I are on teams with a Hayes and a longtime friend. He stayed at my house, so we've got a little bit of implicit bias there. Casey's a great guy, and rooting for him as well. But wanted to throw that. Obviously, I was in the top 8. I was paired with Hayes game 1, and I scooped to him so that he could make a run at winning his first world. So obviously there will be some bias there, but it should be a great finals and both players. And if I'm being honest, I think Casey has a very favorable matchups here.
Yeah, we're both going to do our best to just call it as even as we can. Speaking to your opinion that Casey has a slight edge here, we were talking about it last night. One of the main concerns is going to be activation for Hayes. Is that right?
Yeah, and Hayes and I both played the same decks today with about 5 cards different because of we were looking at the top and bottom half of the brackets. He had more ISB, so he was actually playing a Don't Do That Again effect to suspend mob points, and I was playing more anti-hunt down stuff. I had a journal and Return of the Jedi to pull it to try and stop their weapons, and I had a whole extra location, the antechamber, to get more activation. Hayes wasn't did not do that, and so he's going to be at a little bit of a disadvantage here.
So Hayes does not have the journal.
He does not have the journal. He does not have the antechamber. He
That's the thing about shield busting is you have to make room for it, so you
Yeah.
have to forego some of those other
Yeah,
more solid
and I
cards.
had all the shield busting stuff too, but it was the final tech cards of like where he went a little more anti ISB, I went a little more anti hunt down, so we ended up a couple cards different, but you still might face someone that you weren't going to face in the first round in the later rounds, and that's sort of what happened here.
And it looks like Casey hit at least one of his pulls with the Cloud City Twix.
Yeah, so I didn't automatically I mean, I basically we we had a 1 in 4 chance to be paired up, and we got paired up, and I conceded to him because I would rather I've won worlds twice. Hayes has not won yet, and he deserves it. I would have more fun. I would enjoy things more if I saw him win than if I won my third one. So I conceded to him so that he could have a run at winning worlds.
And I would expect this matchup can be very swingy either way. There's beatdown potential on both sides. It could be explosive.
And I think that's true of Casey's decks in general. He's running Hunt Down, and for the other side, he's running a light side Endor Pyre deck that relies on drawing boss nest Wisas to get Boss Nass Chambers out and speak with the Jedi Council to get JCC out. And if he doesn't get his activation, it can go really wrong. And same thing with this 12 card hunt down. He starts Surface Defense Virtual, which lets him start with 12 cards in his hand, but no effects. And if he gets, it looks like right now he's got the castle out and the security tower. So it looks like, getting into the details of the game, he got out the security tower either via sonic bombardment or our screen's a little bit blocked because Dan's working on tweaking stuff on the back end, but so Dan says hi. So he either played sonic bombardment or the security tower from hand, and then Vanny got the castle, and then he gets a 4-lom out to start cycling. So he did get that fast start.
Strong start, yeah, for Casey.
Two Twixes. Vanny is a 1-0 basically. He can activate one, and the 4-lom to cycle. That's a very strong start. But Casey does have a lot of variance. If he hits nothing in his hand, he's very far behind, and if he hits his activation, he's really far ahead. And so he just sort of leaned into that variance with both of his deck choices. I'm not sure I quite understand your comment. It's not very fair for other players that I concede. That it'd be more fair for them if they had to run through someone who's won. I mean, either way, they have to play one person. Whether Hayes gets knocked out in our game or I get knocked out in our game, it doesn't. They have to go through somebody to win. All right, so Hayes activates his turn one. So Visage, it looks like Hayes lost barrier, and can you? Is there a way to move this so that I can see? And no escape got lost to Visage for Casey.
That can be a very important card. It's a tough card to lose off the top for Casey.
Honor would have been a good call.
Oh yeah.
Hindsight 2020.
Yep.
Barrier is like, it's nice to have. That's a fine one to lose. I wonder if he lost it from hand because he didn't want to risk losing more key cards.
So Hayes is starting, pulling his sights. Looks like the only sight he had in there is the Cantina.
Which is a bummer because you don't want to give them two icons right away. You'd rather do Mos Eisley and just give them one. And Vader's going to come down there, and Casey's going to get off to a pretty explosive start here. I think. So this is what I was saying in that I think Casey's pretty favored. First of all, just because of what Hunt Down can do, but then if he gets a good start, and then the build that Hayes is playing versus mine, if you go look at the deck list once they're posted later this week, you'll see how mine has extra anti-Hunt Down stuff that Hayes does not.
Okay, so he does have the farm at least. We see Goonie Tay. We see the first of the degenerate cards coming out.
Yeah, so Casey's going to have to use a shield to cancel that. You can't pay +2 for almost every character in your deck. Emperor, Vader, Mara, Kylo, everyone's a greater than ability 2. 2 or 3? 2.
2.
Greater than ability 2. And you can't pay +2 for all of them. So that's definitely going to be canceled. Looks like Farm came out as well.
Now, interesting is that Hayes did not wait for the Imbat shield before he put Goonie Tay out.
Yeah, he wanted to play it turn 1, and he probably wasn't threatening that he's going to deploy anyone turn 1. So, and the other thing that hurts Hayes here is Casey's likely going to ground first, which means Hayes probably has to pull Battle Plan, which is one less shield Casey has to pull. So I don't think Casey will be too threatened by the shield busting. Yep, I see you in chat, and that is certainly something that can be discussed elsewhere, as we'll focus on the game here. So Casey top decks Appointment to Visage, and Hayes loses a Scanner text from hand. Hayes also got out the Helper effect. Wanted to note that real quick.
Yep.
So he'll be able to revive a guy later and add one to a Destiny or activate one.
What set was that? Set
21.
So, this is gonna like block our view of seeing stuff though if you're pulling up. I can just summarize what. Are you trying to pull up scanner text? Okay. Um,
So now he's got his bridge,
yep.
another
Accelerates for
Twix.
bridge. He either drew that turn one or forelummed into it. So that should be probably all his activation, other than once Emperor Dooku comes out, they add an icon, and then the Hollow Theater site will activate +1 when Emperor's out, or +1 with
Does
Vader's
he have
out,
the
+2
downtown
if both.
plaza?
Yes.
Yeah, he'll play the downtown plaza will be in the deck, but he will not deploy it. Stuff would have to be going pretty drastically wrong for Casey
For
to
him to
not
pull that,
for
yeah.
him to give Hayes two icons here. He just wants to limit it to Tatooine, limit Hayes to just activating, keep that activation disparity as big as possible. Because right now, if we assume no Vader Emperor out, he's got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, plus Vanny is 14 to 2, 4, 6, 7, 8, 9.
9.
So 14 to 9
And
is
pretty rough.
a big difference. I think Casey's just going to draw and be content to lose the Visage here and start saving and building up that. I think he'll cancel Goo next turn and deploy guys. Yeah, so he does. He just goes to draw phase.
Yeah, I would expect him to deploy some.
Uh, oh, that is a good question. Desai says is the sideways shield a cold feet slash turn it off. I didn't catch the very beginning of the game because some technical stuff was happening to update if you see the player names where it says dark side Casey, light side Hayes, that all that was getting sort of updated, and so we couldn't. It was our screen was
Oh.
blocked when that happened, but that is a good observation. Often players will turn shields sideways to indicate a one that's not pulled via the starting effect, but pulled via an interrupt, and so it may be the case that cold feet. Um, yeah, Desai adds he was shield bust if he made day 3-2, and this is a matchup he didn't love. The Hitco shield bust, yeah. That deck. So MHT debuted that in the Champions League against me earlier this year and crushed me. Um, and yeah, we went with an Obi muting one. The Hitco one has the advantage of having the inserts never tell me the odds. Um, this one is sort of more solid all around. It doesn't sell out as much for the shield busting, um, but is just nasty with Goop, Beggar, Revo, Harvest. Taco Bill says I probably would have played it too. Whoa, shield busting's back, people. All right, Tarkin from hand,
And then,
and they're tracking us for Visage.
so Casey, we're expecting him to just deploy some strong dudes in the cantina and make Hayes solve that riddle. I think I see a Vader, a double swing maul in Casey's hand. The one thing Hayes has in his favor is the shuffle, so he doesn't have to confront right away. He can wait until he builds up strong enough force that he thinks it's comfortable to fight.
Yeah, so that shield, he does deploy 190 degrees from that. The detention, that seems like such a waste of a shield. The use pull, it means Hayes will only get use pulls at the farm, but really what he'll do is deploy to the farm and then move to Mos Eisley, and then he can shuffle in the next turn. So it's like it forces Hayes to pay one extra per character to get a used pull. Yeah, a shield, when someone's shield busting, to pay one extra per character does not seem, unless he's gonna stack hard at Mos Eisley or something and force Hayes to either choose the farm or Cantina.
Yeah. That's an interesting
It's
thought.
probably still not worth it, but that's the only thing I can say is if he's going to Cantina here,
It's
then that shield seems.
What's a waste of a shield?
Yeah.
He might feel comfortable because he got a free one, and
So 3PO comes out. And Hayes got two more, so now we're at 14 to 11. It'll go up once Vader comes out to 15 to 11. So it's still ugly, but it's. I mean, this is all of Hayes' activation. He does not have any other locations. I had the antechamber as well.
Hayes is playing Accelerate for I Am Your Father.
Which will let Vader get his saber and recur it from Lost Pile. Um, Light Side does not have Weapon Love. That's one of the shield busting cards we did not fit in. It was actually in my last cut this morning in my when I emailed in my deck lists. The jump file was attached from last night, and I it manually typed in was -1 Weapon Love plus the antechamber. I wanted the extra activation because I was scared about that disparity.
And
I
Scramble
Am Your
was another
Father.
shield busting
Yeah.
card we were talking about.
Goo will not affect Vader with I Am Your Father out because it makes him a 6. Um, still think you have to cancel goo for every other character in your deck, like Mara, Vader, Kylo, Maul,
Maul, yeah.
Tarkin. Is there anyone of ability to
Dr. E combo.
Doctor E combo? You did it. Harvest, Beggar, Goo. There's a Revo in there as well. Um, we had a version that also had like senses and it had a tremor in the force to like pop that late game, so they just don't get a turn. Basically, you just insert that, recoil their hand. It pop after they activate one. It pops. They don't activate anymore, and they basically just don't get a turn. Um, but yeah, this version stayed more balanced and went a little lighter on the shield busting.
And it's harder to play sense in this deck because you have one dude who can reliably succeed with it.
Yep. Yep. From Oppo 3. John Hawkins and Christinoma helped pioneer that tremor in the force that got errated to once per game. He's very glad not to have Sense here. Yeah, Sense wouldn't do a ton against Hunt Down because +4 to each draw um, on the front side and
Can't even
not
play
allowed
it
on
at
the
all.
back. But the recoil part could be played on the front side, on the back not.
Right. So it looks like he's playing Vader from reserve deck to the castle.
Against walkers. Yes, he's pulling him from reserve. If now Hayes wishes he had that barrier in hand. Um, my Obi, we didn't show Bush yesterday, right? So the Obi deck we played yesterday, Hayes did. I did one with the system and celebration, and Hayes did not. So we have different. I beat Charlie's walkers with my system celebration. Um, we have lines against walkers. Yes. Desai said he beat Salucci. Um, Salucci was upset that he didn't have the lines against walkers. Um,
And you won a close one against Charlie's Walkers?
that's right. Yeah.
Surprised Charlie played Walkers.
Yeah. It can definitely go either way, but if the OB meaning player is prepared for it, walkers is very feasible system or not. Saber must not have been in reserve because otherwise he would have pulled it with I'm Your Father. Um, so then I guess he's like, do I warp Vader with no Saber? That's a lot scarier. Yeah. Yes. I think Obi should win as well, but I think you outplayed Salucci.
Hey, showing off his reach advantage there. Yeah, he definitely has that.
All right, so he plays the anti-goo shield, which is the combat shield, cancels goo. Um, so he has 2 pulls left. He's gonna want secret plans, possibly code clearance, possibly anti-revo, possibly anti-beggar, possibly. So he's got 2 pulls left, 4 shields he wants, but that cold feet or turn it off is still floating in there somewhere as well. So
Yeah.
he's kind of okay on shields.
Yeah, he got the first one for free
Hayes' ideal is if he can get a revo
to
and like
equalize.
to equalize activation a little bit better, or I mean, if he could have got it off on Castle before and forced Casey to cancel, or possibly beat down Vanny with it. So he plays Emperor and
I believe that's a Tarkin.
a Tarkin. Yeah, he'd already top deck 1 Tarkin. I'm kind of surprised he's playing 2. He's got to have Emperor shuttle. We saw
Yeah.
it against in the Johnny Chu game. So he's playing double Tarkin and probably 3 Emperors and some shuttles. Um,
And he is doing the play you mentioned of going right to most Isley. Now Hayes has to choose between
yep,
shield pulls and then or the shuffle. He can't
yep,
have both.
yep. Activates one with Vanny. Yeah, you don't really need the grabber. Um,
So now for the moment, Casey's flipped.
Yep. So
Hayes
only
has
Hayes loses one.
Visage.
If Casey can start, if he had that saber and he could just start doing drains at
Oof.
3 and 2 to Visage, and Hayes is taking 5 and not possibly not doing much, maybe doing 2. Like it can snowball here. Hayes also tends to have to put out a lot more cards, so he's already going to be starting at about a 10 card deficit in terms of overall cards that'll need to be played. Saber bottom of force. No, I think it was just that turn. He didn't. I don't know that I would have looked for the force lightning there
Yeah.
because I think he shuffled the saber back to the top. Um, no, it was. I don't think it was the bottom of force. I think it was just this was the first turn he put Vader out. So and it wasn't in there the turn that he put Vader out. I think it. I think it's been in there most of the time. This doesn't seem ideal. I mean no, but it's a bad matchup.
He's just
No, he just pulled Vader to the castle this turn, and then he warped him over to Mos Eisley. Vader came from reserve deck to the castle, and Emperor Tarkin came out, and then Vader moved over. Yeah. With two huntdowns in the top eight, this wasn't a concern. It was, and that's why I played anti-huntdown stuff. And I told him like just because you don't face it in round one, you might in round two or three if you want to win. And he did. He's like I feel
Bat Mouse
comfortable.
played
You
Hunt
you know
down
how Hayes is.
day two, or
Um,
day one, I mean.
the advantage Hayes has is he's really good at this
Played
game.
six
So
months back.
Casey's playing very strong. Casey beat me yesterday. Um, in the other matchup, um, on the other side of this, the game we're going to see after this, it's Hayes. Did the Oh no, he was just reading that for a long time. I was like, did the stream freeze? um, uh, in the other matchup, Hayes's Jabba's Palace SSA versus Casey's Pyre. Um, he beat Hayes in that matchup by one yesterday and beat me in that matchup by two yesterday. So it's a very close game. It could go either way. I'd expect Hayes to win it, but by a small amount. So this game, if it gets out of hand, could be tough. So he gets a verify. He sees the Owen and Bruise and the Harvest. He sees a Clash and Luke. There's a Leia. Um, so no Leia is tough for Hayes. If he had, it looks like Luke Saber's in there. Only one Luke, so maybe Hayes already has a Luke in hand. If he had Leia right now, that would be
That would be
better
big.
because he could turn off the drain. Um, does he have? I think he has Tarkin's Bounty. Yeah, yeah. So that would stop the Leia if he gets that in time.
And he's playing a bunch of accelerates.
Yeah.
So
Guess those hyperwave.
What did Johnny play?
What?
What did Johnny play today?
Chew. He played hidden base and uh,
he played Endor Ops
Endor Ops
non-GTO.
It was like a any methods necessary thing. Yeah. In Worlds, are the players only allowed to use the original cards, or you can print out the yeah everything. This is the open format. And hi, first time chatter, Johnny. This is the open format, which means all tournament legal cards, decipher cards, and the virtual cards, all the way up to V21, which came out a month and a half or so ago.
Mm-hmm.
Um, are legal to play. All those ones on Chimp. We had a retro event on Friday, which was premiere to Death Star 2, I think. I didn't play in it. I think it was premiere to Death Star 2, not a Reflections 2-1. So some other formats get played, but this open format is the most common one. Two in the top eight. Yeah. Yeah, Uh, Batmouse and Casey both played Hunt Down yesterday, and so I was aware of that, and I added in multiple tech cards for it, um, journal and puller, and an extra sight and stuff. And Hayes was less concerned, and we'll
All
see.
right, so he's making his first move here.
I think it'll be a Luke to the Cantina.
Cantina. Oh,
No, he
he's
wants the
going for the
useful.
useful.
I wonder if there's something in there that he knows. I mean, he really looked through that reserve deck. The Leia was the key card I was looking for to stop that drain, slow the bleeding, but he must have seen something that he wanted in there.
So no code clearance out yet, which means he can get one off for free, a harvest. I don't, might be too early for that.
Once Owen and Brew come down, he'll pull it.
Yeah.
Um, this is the finals. It is Hayes versus Casey, and Casey has the matchup advantage. So you might, Steve, get to crown Casey world champion soon. Yeah. Um, Dan's adding a comment here about how Batmouse was on set your course. That was the other deck. It was like he's either hunt down or set your course, and Casey's probably hunt down. And um, but he. All right, so Luke got his saber with Saitor after pulling something from used.
It's a bad feeling for Hayes though, because you have to expect whoever you put down, just some really strong dudes are going to come fight you right away.
Right. You think there's gonna be a Maul, Mara, Kylo, all those sort of things. So hope. Oh,
Oh,
Jin.
Jin.
That's probably what he saw.
Oh,
Yeah, that's a
He's
good.
like, I can
That's a
slow
good
it
one.
down with that.
and that's actually very worth
Casey
it.
has no weapons right now, so there's sniper wouldn't do anything if he had it.
Calm scan.
He needs a
He
comm
has
scan
Emp
detection
and
or
Force Lightning.
that's right. And free ride combo does not protect undercover spies from force lightning.
We see an Accelerate for an Accelerate, I believe. It's probably worth doing it blind on his next turn. I don't know. It's a tough call. He's got good enough destiny. It's probably worth it. But if he misses, that gives Hayes a little breathing room.
Yep. Well, I don't think he can activate his whole deck. Nowhere
No,
near at
it'll be
that point.
blind,
So
but
it'll be blind.
all you
He
need is
he
a 3.
accelerated for an accelerate, but and now he's four lumming.
Yeah.
Casey beat Chu. If Casey wins, he will have had a great run. He would have
He'll earn it
beat
for sure.
Chu, then Beef Red, then Hayes. Like
Mhm.
that is that those are three very good players. Um, and he made great meta calls, and he's been playing really well. There's a long finals match to go though. This is game one. We're about 4 turns into game one. They both lose to Visage here. Oh, Vader's Saber gets top deck. That's huge for Casey because now he can deploy it from Lost Pile. Whereas if it was floating, like if that had
Mhm.
been one card lower, then he activates it. It's
Again.
stuck in Force again. Like it doesn't. But now top decking, that's so good for Casey.
So I think here comes the Force Lightning.
Desai says if Hayes gets to his turn here, I'm assuming he means with Luca. He's still got the revive, but if he can survive this turn, it will be big.
Yep,
But
here
okay,
comes
so
the Force
he
Lightning.
goes on the Force Lightning, or he pulls a Force Lightning.
Okay.
Um, yeah, I think he's gonna zap Jin, drain, um, deploy Vader's saber. I think he's fine leaving Luke alone. Um, he's like I'm draining, unless his hand is just like nuts.
D-
Yep.
That allows Hayes to just grind out, and he
He draws a
missed with
one.
a
He draws
1.
a
That's
Saj. So
huge.
Jin survives. That is huge. So that might change Casey's plan because if he zaps her and drains two and deploys a saber, he might be like, cool. But now, what did he
Uh,
just? Oh, he just accelerated. I think he's
no
gonna.
escape. He's gonna no. Oh, he lost no escape already.
He did lose no escape. He was gonna no escape the thing. He top decked it. Okay,
Oh,
he gets a
it's a
first
good card
strike.
too.
Yeah.
But what does it do here? I mean, unless he goes against.
He's gonna battle. Dan's asking what first strike will be used for. He's gonna use that to battle into Luke and just put pressure
Yeah.
on.
Yeah. Yeah, first strike lets you retrieve one when you battle, and they lose one, and they have to pay one to do interrupts in battle. So that's a very aggressive, attacky card. Yeah, let's keep the chat not too negative. Everyone has people they're rooting for, and that's totally fine. And like I disclaimed early on, I'm obviously Hayes is a close friend of mine. But Casey is playing well. There's uh, no negativity there, and he's on a great run. Um, all right, so here he accelerates for that first strike. He may battle so that he can get that
Oh,
Force Lightning back via retrieval, and then
that is a good call.
pull again with Emperor. So here comes double bladed Maul, and that's obviously a lot worse than Lord Maul for Hayes because that double swing. He gets a subtract two with Obi's Hut, but having the two swings means he's likely to hit at least once.
Well, he's defense value 6, right?
He's
Yeah,
defense value six
DB6.
because he has +1 with the saber. Um, Hayes is probably going to pull aim high. I think he should pull aim high because he doesn't need. I'm surprised he doesn't have unless his little. Can you move Hayes's camera to the top left?
Hayes just stepped away for a
Yeah,
second.
so I can see if there's cards under that. Like.
No, that's a big giant box there.
Oh, okay,
Yeah, they're not
Yeah,
supposed to put any
okay.
cards there.
I'm wondering why he didn't play Goldenrod Shield for Blizzard 4. Seems weird.
I'm
Um,
wondering if he has 2-4 saved. A clash here would be huge for him.
yeah, but it sucks having to clash and have your drain blocked and the Maul just sitting there. I mean, I guess Jin's blocking the drain too. It's just
Just
so.
to prevent I mean, I think I see a sniper dark strike in Casey's hand anyway.
He's deploying. He takes back one force because Dooku is deploying -1 with Sidious on the table, and Emperor persona is Sidious, or the Sidious is the persona, so Emperor counts. So Dooku for 5, and a first strike.
Yep, now he's going for aim high.
Hmm. He's like, where do I put this? Because of this big box. They could have shift everything. So, yeah, I think this battle's gonna be tough. If and if he hadn't tried to Force Lightning, obviously right here, Force Lightning used on Luke before swinging would be really big too. Um, there's no dodge or anything to save haste here. I'm trying to think of cards in the deck that might
Does he
help
play
here.
huge?
Like
I
you
don't
said,
think he plays
Clash.
Hujix, does he?
Sorry, yeah, Hujix is in there. Remember
Well,
with the
so he's
Blount
not.
mess up in the last one?
Yeah.
So he's not playing blast reflection.
Deflection should be in there.
So he deflects one of it and then subtracts 2 from the other.
Yeah. If he deflects a swing and subtracts 2, he might not get hit. That's where Force Lightning used on him would be big. If but Casey might have switched to this line after missing the zap.
Yeah,
Justin's pointing out that he forgot to get Vader Saber this turn.
Well, he hasn't battled, and it's oh, he
He
did
did battle
because the
already.
top of the Force Lightning got retrieved. Yeah,
Oh, um, yeah.
he couldn't lose one to get the saber without burying lightning. That's true.
But I think he has sniper in his hand, so it's
So he swings and he
that's a
gets
7.
5-2
Wait,
is a
why is he
7.
not
Why doesn't he
subtracting 2?
subtract 2? Maybe he's just planning to Hujix anyway, so he didn't think of it. But this is, yeah, it might just be one Force Lightning, so he really wants that for Jin. And the Leia got top decked
Mm.
to first strike, which means no drain canceling. Which yes, Jin's blocking for now. That's not gonna last forever, especially
Well,
with that lightning coming back.
if Casey doesn't pull Coward, though, it could be a retrieve and then use puller into hand
Well, is it?
with Walkling.
Well, no. Or you just bring it back with the effect.
So I think Hayes just added 5
Well,
to his
Leia's in lost
power.
pile right
No,
now.
I'm saying. Well, yeah, I'm saying like bring Luke back.
Yeah.
So he hit, yeah, he hit
Dooku.
Dooku, and Maul's gonna die from attrition.
Yeah.
And then Luke's going to bounce back. And
How
he
much is he
might.
gonna have to peel here?
It's power 10 to 13. Looks like Hayes
Yeah.
has not used the 1 force to add 5 yet.
Are you sure? Cause he just read Obi.
I think he had 2 before the battle started,
Okay.
but maybe he activated 1 and then used it.
Yeah, I mean, if Hayes can clear this both, revive, play the saber. Oh,
Well,
I have you now.
that's going to force the Hujix, or that's
Or that's gonna.
going to basically be game.
Little Rebel Princess got top decked.
No, no, no. He just looks like he's under calm
There's only one
control.
copy in the shield busting one. There's two in the normal one, in the one that we played yesterday, the non-busting. But you gotta cut somewhere. We almost played two for Hunt Down.
Battle Destiny of
665.
665.
All right, I think he's gotta have the Hoojigs,
Yeah.
right?
So he's
Yeah, he can Jedi love her. So they both die. Uh, he's counting power.
So it should be what 14 for Hayes.
7 plus 5 is 12, plus 5 is 17, plus 12 is 29. To I don't know if Hayes
14 at
added to
best.
power. I don't think Hayes has the Hoojigs. He doesn't usually slow play stuff like this. I think he's gonna peel like 15 here. And I don't think he. Well, Luke would have been hit anyway if he
Yeah,
had
if he killed.
-2 from those next to 665. But
Right.
then he wouldn't have drawn 665. He would have drawn 5 something something. If he'd remembered a -2, he might have peeled a lot less. No reason to add 5 if he has Hoojigs. Well, the reason to add 5 is it was before the I have you now, and if you draw high and he draws low, you might not have to Hoojigs. You could save it because once you add 5, your power
Yeah, he's
10,
giving up his
10 to
number now.
12. You're only down by 2. So if you outdraw him by 2, then you don't even need to use the Hoojigs. Um, so I think you'd still add 5. But then once I have you now happens, it's bad. Yeah, Hayes is counting. He's peeling a bunch here. Let's see if we can figure out how much. Dude, he had to add 5, right? I
Yeah,
think he
with
had
there's no way he didn't. So he's at 14. And then the Destiny
14, and then it was
29.
665, which is 17 plus 12 power is 29. So 29 to 14 is 15
15.
difference. Hey Tom, how you doing? Former world champion Tom Haid. Checking in.
Yep. And the peeling has begun.
So Hayes will probably lose this by 28, 25 plus. It's going to be hard to win that dark by. I think. I think he can win it by 10. I think he can win it by 15, but 20 plus, based on the fact that Casey's played it twice yesterday against me and Hayes. Um,
Weird things happen in match
he wouldn't be
play.
able to fight Vanny. Yeah. Nabernine to Vanny, you would need to have be on the front side of keep Luke out or not be fighting with the Skywalker or whatever. Like if he went
Mm.
Blount, Anakin, Saber or something, he could get overflow on Vanny. Um, so he did revive Luke. It looks like. That'll keep Hunt down on the front side for now, and Hayes is just
There's the
trying to cut
Hugix.
diff.
Yeah. It's gonna be really interesting to see what game plan changes Hayes does after this.
Yeah, his game plan can't be to grind, but to beat down. But Casey's got to know that. He's got to know like, okay, don't get beat down. Just go slow and grind it down below the amount. R2 to turn it into a battleground. No R2 in the deck, but good thought. Yeah, Casey has used pulls. Casey has Clash. Hayes, I think Hayes has a sense in today, so that could cancel Clash. Hayes also has uncertain is the future, so he could go for beatdown and then like recoil the Hujix away. Um, there are always lines, but it will be very uphill. This game is Casey, everything's going Casey's way.
I've seen that I Have You Now blow out people multiple times in this top 8.
In the today?
Yeah.
Oh.
He blew out B. Fred in space. He had Emperor Shuttle plus I Have You Now against Luke and drew like 5 destinies.
Oh wow.
For a total of 20 something.
Casey just moved Forlum over to be with Vanny to have extra power and forfeit if someone does come down onto
Covering the
Vanny.
bases.
That's a good play. So I mean, if you're Hayes here, I guess he's draining free because there's no battle plan out, so he can drain for 1. If you're Casey, you probably don't really want to pull battle plan because you're just so shield limited. You eat the drain of 1. So Luke can get his saber once per game from Lost Pile, so we're gonna see him get armed again this turn. Hayes, it looks like Hayes is deciding how much to activate and how much force to leave in his reserve. So, and of course, he tries to force lightning Jin here during Hayes activate. That's sort of a weird time
He's
to do
just
this.
pulling it with Emperor.
Okay. Good call. Thanks.
It was 14 in overflow.
14.
According to Greg, but
I wonder what the power difference was. Oh, Hayes maybe added 1 to his destiny with the effect.
Oh, yep.
So he peels 1 less. 14 overflow, not 15. Still a lot.
yeah.
I mean, yeah.
Alright, so Casey loses 1 to Luke's drain. And
Oh, there's
here
Blunt.
comes Blount. Yeah, if that Forlum hadn't moved over, Casey would be in a lot more trouble here, but that'll add Forlum's 2 power, his
There's
gunshot
Hera.
does a -1, and he's 3 forfeit, so that adds 6 less overflow. Casey might take to this battle.
That is
So we're looking
Hera.
at Blount,
14,
Hera,
That's 2 destinies.
So she's going to draw 2.
and then I'm betting we'll see a Lando here. Ray.
Ray. He's going to pull the saber.
He's only got 3 force left. He does have 5. He looks so disappointed. You can look at the look on Hayes' face. There's no saber. He might still be able to ray draw into it. But he's trying to, if he can hit Vanny, he'll be power 4, 8, 10. Ray will add 1, 11. -1 from Forlum is 10. So Hayes is at 10, 10 to 4.
Plus
and
1
3
from his
forfeit
effect.
will live 7. So 10 to 7. What's that?
Plus 1
Plus
from
1 for
his...
the effect. So 11 to 7 plus an extra destiny. So we're looking at 4 plus destiny. Casey will have to peel.
No return to the Jedis in this build, Tom.
That's right. Yeah,
do you
my
think he's gonna
build
add
had.
the +3 with the effect?
Oh, he's also...
Oh
he
yeah,
also,
add 3 to his power. Good call, Dan. He can add 3 to his power with Obi.
There's Luke Saber coming back.
Coming from
This
Lost.
will cancel Visage, and Jin is still alive.
Yep.
Yeah.
Could buy him some time.
Though Visage eating both of them is kind of good for. Well, maybe not.
Depends how long
He's so
Jin
behind.
stays alive.
Yeah, that's well. There's that force lightning.
Correct. He'll have to get lucky a second time.
Dan, Dan's over here, basically just saying all the same comments you are, Justin, but right ahead of you.
Yeah.
And it's impressive. This might make the game 2 matter more. For sure, for sure. Any diff you can cut, and the closer you can make it, people have come back from big. Oh, Casey's trying to Ellis to the Cantina.
That means he definitely doesn't have a Gick.
He definitely does not have the Gick. Hayes looks annoyed. He's like, do I grab this? He says, go ahead. Casey draws up 4, Sonic Bombardment. 4? He cannot afford to pay.
I thought that was his Gick.
It was a Desperation Ellis. He was waiting to see if Hayes grabbed or did anything.
So he does have the lightsaber on Ray.
So, I mean, he's going to peel 8 or 10-ish, but he's still way far ahead. He can peel 8 and still win this game by 15, I think.
Oh, but that's now into the possible things can happen range.
Right.
28, you're just dead.
Right.
15.
Yep.
Bad things can happen.
First strike is a card. Gets a net 2. Why was he not trying Destiny first? What could anyone have done before Destiny draw? That's a good point. Well, yeah. You always, before any cancelers and stuff, you draw and pay. That is true.
He's using the puller to get that 0 out.
Okay. But like I said, we probably won't see that deployed. We have 99 viewers right now.
Wow.
Yep. Hayes got 99 problems, but viewers ain't one.
Don't worry, we've called security to escort Joe out. He'll be here momentarily.
That was both good. And this is why you guys booted me.
Jeeps, how you doing? You like that?
103 now, JNAP says.
Good. Mission accomplished. I made one person laugh.
So does he swing or does he draw 2 Battle Destiny? Probably swing.
He's got 4.
Oh, does he?
Yeah.
Oh, fantastic.
He saved enough. Okay, he does have the saber. Yep.
So this is.
Yep.
He may not win, but this puts you back into like playable for game 2 potentially.
Yep. Casey's like desperately forloms, hoping for a Janus.
Or the Gick or something.
That's what I mean, hoping for a Gick. Hayes has 4 in reserve. He does. So 1 to battle, and then he'll first strike. He loses.
Sonic Bombardment.
Oh, and Draw Their Fire is out. He played first strike, Draw Their Fire to.
Oh.
He swings. He hits. Oh, he draws 6/5 there. He would have loved those as Destiny.
Then he's hit.
He makes Blount power -1. This might be a similar amount of overflow. It's not going to be as much. He pays 1 to add 3 to power.
So his power 13. No, 12.
So he's 4, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12.
Did he activate with the effect?
No, because he's going to draw both those
both.
Battle Destiny.
Because he'll get 1 or +1.
12 plus 7 is 19. Plus 1 from the effect is 20.
He made that one a Destiny 8 with the effect.
Yep. Plus 5 is 25. And Casey is 4. So 25 to 4.
3 forfeit from Forlom, right?
Oh, did I add Ray too? I think it's 26 to 4.
Yeah. I don't think you added Ray. You did add the effect.
Yeah.
So that's a Destiny of.
We're seeing some crazy swings this game.
That was a Battle Destiny of 14, including Ray and this and the Luke effect.
Mm-hmm. And he draws an Accelerate, so that's a 5. So that makes him 9, and Forlom covers 3 is 12, so 25 to 12, so he'll peel 13. 26 to 12, so he'll peel 14, the same amount. Which Casey was ahead before that, so peeling the same doesn't, but it's at least.
And by the way, clutch Casey moving Forlom over, saving
if he
5 or 6 cards.
That would be 17.
Yeah, it would be 6 more. He'd have to peel 3 for the forfeit, 2 for his power, and 1 for the -1 from his built-in weapon. So 6. He'd peel 6 more if he hadn't moved him over. Yeah. Vanny is forfeit 0, but Forlom is not.
So now.
Why is it against 9? Because Vanny's 2, Forlom's 2, that's 4, and he drew a 5 for Destiny is 9, and Forlom forfeits for 3 is 12. 12 that he covers. 9 power, correct. Yeah, it's correct. I was just counting the total that he covered versus the 26. He covers 12, 9 power, 3 forfeit, versus Hayes' 26 power is 14 overflow.
This game is a swinging
This is now an
Yep.
insane game.
This is a swinging game, just like Scott's pineapple shirt.
And Hayes' life force, let's see, he paid like 4 for Ray, uh, and then he took one of them. So that's 3. 2 for Blount, 4 for Hera, um, 1 to battle, 1 to add to power. He drew us 2 for a swing. He drew 2 battle destiny, so he's around 15.
I had him at 17, but somewhere right around there.
Yeah. I think he was doing a couple other things that I didn't. Yeah,
Casey doing
he might have taken out.
Casey doing lawyer math.
The 5 is now tracked for force lightning. Yeah, once Casey peels 14 here, he'll be able to activate essentially everything, and yeah, he can use that 5 he just drew and zap Jin and train 2.
And then it's going to be back
The
on
bonus for
Luke
losing
action.
14. Yeah. The real question for Joe: if Hayes wins this, will the extreme confidence exist, or will he admit the absurdity? Uh, Hayes will never admit anything
Other than perfect certainty.
he was correct all along and he always knew everything perfectly.
He planned that to peel 14. That was
Right,
part of the plan.
right. He actually, funny story, Bastion's here in chat. He was talking about Bastion yesterday and he said, or this morning, and he was like, yeah, I'm gonna go for the Bastion. You lose game 1 to give them confidence, and then it makes all the more pleasurable when you come back and crush them in game 2. And I was like, that's how he knocked me out of Worlds in 2018. I won game 1, and then he came back and beat me in game 2. It's how he won the finals when he knocked me out in 2019, and it's how he won the finals in 2018. So he was joking about losing game 1 and then coming back.
Okay, so that was Vader out of hand, and then 13 from reserve deck.
Yeah.
The Brian Hunter. Must not lose mode. So now Visage is canceled. That's going to slow the pace of the game a little bit. Jin is going to get zapped.
Casey did pull Coward.
Wait, is he just doing it blind right now? I mean, you know where that 5 is.
That's
Does he
bizarre.
know that it's
He
high?
may want... He got her.
It's of Sonic. Okay.
He may want to activate and fight Luke.
He gets to
Dr. E,
peek. Dr. E,
Sniper.
P59, you were beaten in Sniper. That's some beats.
But not enough by themselves to do anything against Luke.
Right, not if
Currently.
Hayes remembers the Obi's subtract.
Yeah, because he did not in the first battle.
As far as we could tell.
But the Destiny might clear Luke, that's the issue.
Yeah, as
That's
Dan
true.
points out, he
That's
might
true.
just clear him with Destiny.
Luke might not be immune. He draws a
Oh.
5 and Luke's not immune. And he gets first strike, draw their fire, 4/4 swing. Yeah, he can make up a lot with draw their fire, first strike, for sure. It's a 4/4 swing every time. I mean, yeah, at some point Hayes might suicide in. He's asked for life count? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 17-ish for Casey?
I counted
15-ish for
13?
Hayes?
I could be wrong.
It's hard to see.
He's down below 20.
Oh, he draws Destiny equals 0. Dr. EMP 59.
Oh.
Because Luke's alone.
Let's hope.
Justin, good call.
Casey needs to hope that he does not forget that.
Update.
Whoa.
Hayes has 15 in life, 3 in hand.
Hayes has 15 in life, 3 in hand.
Casey 13 and 4.
Casey has 13 in hand,
The
13 in life, 4 in hand. You were right with the 13.
Yeah.
Oh.
They are basically dead even here.
Very even. Luke is alone. It's mandatory. Yeah, well, it'd get active judged. He's the subtract 2 from Obi's Hut was optional, and Hayes missed it. But Luke being alone, he couldn't miss that.
So now Hayes is pulling battle
Ming,
plan.
thanks for subscribing with Prime for 23 months. If you do not know, you can subscribe to the PC's Twitch with your Amazon Prime account. It is totally free for you, and it gives the PC some money every month. You do have to go on and renew it every month, but if you do that, it does support the PC. They get actual cash for that, and appreciate it a lot. You think Hayes is going to win the game? I don't know about that. He's about to... I mean, they're both...
Oh, P59
Coward
it's
is
a
out,
Ray.
and P59 can just shoot Luke. Well, no, because the -2. If he remembers the -2.
I think P59's at Ray. It's like a 6/4 swing.
Yeah, Ray with Saber. Yeah, I mean, it's the
He-
first strike, draw their fire,
But he
make a
just has
big
to live 5.
difference.
Why go after Ray? She's not doing anything.
If Ray lives, he gets
Correct.
Lando.
Oh, he still would need to draw a 6 to hit Ray too.
Hey, Dr. Lack and Chris Schoenthal subscribing for 3 and 5 months respectively. Thank you for renewing those Prime subscriptions.
One day Joe will show me how to subscribe so I can help out the channel as well.
Jeff's a huge boomer. He does not know any technology. He's like constantly texting me about his printer problems.
Wait, seriously, you're hitting up Joe and you know me, IT tech? Come on, man.
Yeah, I want to save you for the big
Top of
problems.
Hayes deck is 5756.
I mean, I only charge $200.
This
an
is
hour.
why Justin is good at the game. He pays attention and tracks. It can get bad for Casey on both sides. That's true. If he attacked into Ray and Hayes draws, hit,
He could end up
and
peeling.
and draws a 7, adds 1, Ray adds 1, like. But he could just sniper her out, and I mean, there's no need to attack her though.
As Dan pointed out, she's not doing anything over there.
Hayes pulled battle plan now.
And I think Casey paid the 3. Casey saved 1 destiny. He's planning on shooting someone.
With no visage?
Yeah.
Did we see Unita die early? What if that Jin comes back?
The Jin coming back would be ridiculous because he still hasn't pulled out Vader's lightsaber.
Justin is tracking his opponent's decks from yesterday.
Okay, so I think he's gonna see. It might have been a big brain move, so he's gonna need a 6 to hit Ray though with P59. Otherwise, this is gonna be
Whoa,
bad.
Dan Torteg gifting a tier 1 sub to Nanashi Studios. Thanks for gifting a sub there, Dan.
Yeah, okay. Finally gets Vader's saber.
All right, saber's out.
Casey.
Will never retire. Isn't he gonna lose force? What do you mean by lose force? So Coward is out. Oh, isn't he gonna lose force in this battle? Well, first, so Simple Tricks comes out. He's not gonna retrieve. He's gonna make Hayes lose 2 for draw their fire first strike. He's gonna hit Ray and make him lose 2. So that's a 4 net loss. Even if he gets overflowed by 4, it's a wash.
Right, he's gonna need a 6 to hit Ray
And if he
here.
draws a 5, he needs a 6 to hit Ray. Yes, if Hayes remembers a -2. I'm still annoyed at that earlier battle.
Correct. There's no reason not to do it.
There's no reason not to do it on that first swing. Therefore, and it would have been a miss. So
Yep.
So he clearly didn't remember. Does he now?
5.
Does he
Come
now?
on, Hayes. Come on. I think he remembered this time.
No, he hasn't pointed or anything to it.
He's peeling 2 off the top, I think.
Yep.
He's thinking.
Oh, come on.
Read your cards, Hayes.
1. Oh, he's swinging.
Yeah, so I think he remembered.
Yeah, because he didn't turn her sideways or lose any.
And now Casey could end up healing a couple here.
All right, we're all like freaking out here. He didn't turn her sideways. He lost for the to the first strike and draw their fire. All right, he hit P59. He might overflow him here.
He's going to add 2
I
to his
think
destiny.
Casey forgot the -2 this time. He was because Ray's not doing anything over there with Coward.
Yeah, well, he's reading the hut now, so.
Yeah. Yeah. Well.
Destiny of a
6
7,
plus
8.
yeah +1/+1. One from Ray, one from the helper effect. So he's.
That's
What did he draw for Destiny? He didn't draw Destiny.
So
yet.
that's 12 to
8.
8. So he's gonna peel 4.
Wow. That was not a great
Yeah,
battle
he
for
caused
Casey.
2 damage and is peeling 4.
so net of 2.
Yeah, so
Net of
he
2 for
and
Hayes.
plus a P59.
Yeah, so net of
so he lost
3.
He lost 3 cards to
And a
clear that
turn of
Ray that wasn't
tempo.
doing anything.
Now Luke gets a drain in unmolested.
Well, unless Vader moves over here.
He has no more force.
He's got a few force. If he left Emperor and moved Vader Tarkin.
Oh, that's his force, not his
yeah,
reserve
yeah,
deck. Sorry.
Yeah. 1, 2,
What's this 2?
3.
He's peeling.
4.
That's a battle damage.
Peeling to the P59 battle.
That battle went really sideways on him.
This is it's going to be close, and game 2 will be close. It's going to be interesting to see if Casey can shake off
Oh, he moves him the other way.
The other way.
Now
Okay.
that's bad because
Is it?
battling into Vader with there's
With what?
I don't know.
He knows run Luke run, so Hayes could get run Luke run back. It's the third from the bottom, because he swung and then drew run Luke run for Destiny,
Hmm.
so he could get that back. But if he played it, he would only have 2 in reserve. No, he activated everything. Um,
I was just yeah,
like his hand
like
is Sniper, Doctory, and 2 to 3 cards he draws. Yeah, yeah.
Vader
Casey
could.
doesn't have a lot of options, but I like spreading here.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
He's threatening 3 and 2.
But every
Hayes is standing up. Casey leans back for a drink. I don't know what if he has a rules question or just needs to stretch his legs. Maybe he just knows they have plenty of time in this match because of these blowouts. They're not
yeah,
going to time, so he's like, let me just take a minute to take a breath or figure out my turn, or I don't know.
Maybe his knees are like sore because he's like having to sit weird in these little chairs.
see,
Hayes should fight into Cantina. I don't know what Hayes has in his hand. He activated everything, so
right.
he's not fighting. Whoa, we received a level 1 hype train emoji. I don't know what that means, but cool.
Uh, I was
Is it
thinking,
usually untimed? Do that get you? So in match play, I don't know. It's been for at least a number of years. It was untimed at various points. That has happened, and that has led to some very long games and days. The rules for at least a while have been the quarterfinals and semifinals, top 8 and top 4, are an hour 15 instead of an hour, and then the finals are an hour 30. And I believe that is what these are being played under. So they have an hour 30 per game. This has been going nowhere near that, and so, yep. What if Hayes gets off like a Owen and Brew Harvest here?
oh, brutal. And then Jin is one of the
We
cards you
had to
take
time
back.
thanks to Kevin Shannon. Um, he had some long games. There was also back at FreedomCon 2001. It was untimed, and they played into the wee hours of the morning. Like Scotland Growl was top 8 that year, and it was the
I think we just saw a 4 force for Jedi Love, and he got Leia back. Very nice. He just Jedi left Leia back.
oh, that's gonna cancel 2 of those drains,
He's not
and it's
gonna.
gonna give him a used pull.
He's not gonna be able to afford it. Oh yes, he can just barely afford it. That's
Did he also drain this turn?
yeah.
So he could drain Jedi Lev, so he has 4, 8, 11. 3 to drain, 4 to Jedi Lev, 4 for Leia.
Yes. 11.
And it'll become 10 after he used pulls. Who plays longer games, Paul Myers
That's
or Kevin Shannon?
insane.
Paul Myers
That just
does
bought him a whole turn.
Hayes wins this. Did he 3PO run Luke run? I don't think so. No, no, no. He activated everything. He needed to use them for this Jedi Lev Leia plan. Yeah, and Tarkin's Bounty's not out. We played 12 games in one day in 2001 and 2002. And 2002 was that epic Hayes Twig match. Yeah, that was the untimed one that they were literally spent a half hour on like activating their activate phase. Like,
It's just
crazy.
an endurance competition at that point.
Endurance, for sure. I would think both Angelo and I won our titles at like 4 or 5 a.m. Yeah, that got changed. There have been some other super long ones, but
So Hayes just stole a turn with
we were,
Leia,
yeah,
and he gets a use pull, so he may have something to splash in for a
he's
first
deciding what to
strike.
take on
Draw
a
their
use pull.
fire.
Oh, he has Padme.
Is that a Yoda too?
Padme wouldn't be
And a
bad.
Yoda.
Padme and a Yoda. Padme could blank Vader and attack, but he'd be down 6. If he gets hit, he loses a ping.
Hmm.
And he could take overflow. He's power 3 to 6.
I like Yoda right into Emperor's sight.
No.
No,
No.
Emperor. That's 7 and 2 Destiny versus 3. Yoda's power 3, and
That's why
Emperor
I'm
and Tarkin is 7 and 2 Destiny.
to Destiny. Yeah.
They would be
That's why I'm sitting here.
Six.
That's why I'm not in the final.
Tell Hayes I said to tell him to lock in a bit. Okay. How did an activate phase take a half hour? Cause back then everyone was much tighter with no reverts and stuff, so they would think out and they were planning out their entire turn and every little thing and like. How can you Jedi Lev to retrieve if Coward is out? Jedi Lev was errated, so it is no longer retrieval. It is now just once per game. Take a character into hand.
Pay for.
It didn't used to be once per game. It is now once per game, and it's pay for take a character from Lost Pile into hand. It is no longer retrieval. It also is at the same time that it was changed to you either redraw it and but put it used, or you take it into hand, but you don't take it in hand and redraw it.
Speak of the devil, that is Paul Myers.
So if Vader walkers over, Hayes fights Hom.
If Vader walks over, Hayes fights him.
Yes. If Vader walks in front of Luke, Hayes will fight. Yes. Thank you for interpreting that. I think Desai's like driving back home right now and texting at the same time. I think he's doing a Scott Lingrell right now.
He's watching pretty closely for driving. So
Who's
that's
with Emperor?
impressive.
Grand Moff Tarkin is. So that's scary to attack into because it's eight power. I think I said 7 power earlier. It's 8 power and 2 destiny.
What a fantastic turn that was for Hayes.
He says almost home. Hard to imagine a single Star Wars game going long enough to require numerous bathroom breaks and 2 to 3 meal breaks. You know, uh,
So he's gonna pay
so
3 to for the drain.
is he? And let Leia go boop boop. Nope,
Oh, he's
he's
just
3
moving
to
guys.
move. Shift everyone over.
Okay. Now he does have You Are Beaten in hand. That's his one card. For
That's right.
Casey. At least I believe so.
I
Oh,
thought
he's a couple
Justin
cards.
took train. That makes more sense if he's on the train ride home. That's right. No texting and driving here. Don't do it. He is on the Hayes train though. Choo choo. I got Dan to laugh, so I'll keep him coming. I'm here all day. Yeah, with that you are beaten. He has force saved.
That's kind of a weird stalemate right now. If you had one more dude, you could just run
I mean, if
to
you're
Mos Eisley.
if you were beaten too early, Leia just moves into Obi's hut,
Oh, yep.
right? But and you can't shift everyone over because Emperor can't move in front of Luke.
Okay, does he have 2 or 3 saved? Because Draw Their Fire is also out.
I'm more focused on this game than commentary and arguably the participants. The participants. Uh, well, I mean that's what happens when you retire. You get to watch and
More
focus
leisure
on
time.
that. They always say, "What are you gonna do when you retire?" This is what Justin's gonna do. uh, yeah, I mean, obviously the draw their fire first strike is the wild card in figuring out who's gonna get a slight edge to actually win the game. But either way, it's gonna be under 10.
Yeah.
It's gonna be close.
It's pretty live for game 2 either way.
Yeah, Hayes. It looks like he's saving 3 in his reserve, like he's planning on fighting. Um,
I'm curious.
He might have to leave the 3 to keep Casey honest, so that Casey has to preemptively do the you were beaten, unless Casey decides to like.
Now he activated another one.
Okay. You think Hayes can win by low teens? Does Casey have 3? He would have to do it before battle, I think. I can't tell how much force he has saved. But yeah, I mean, if he could, yeah, Luke hit Leia. 3 in hand forces. Well played finals. So for sure, game 1 has been exciting. It was looking like it was going to just be a blowout one way, and then we had the blowout to even it up, and now we've got a little bit of tactical maneuvering. And then the next game is going to be fun because that's a very chess-like match. We'll get into that when that game starts, but the next game should be very strategic. Just move both of them over to Mos Eisley. The problem is if you move Luke, so you have to move Luke first so that he doesn't get you or beaten after you move Leia. So you move Luke first. He might then just you or beaten Leia so she can't move, and then you can attack into Luke, get the 4/4 swing, add a destiny.
Then though, yeah.
All right, he's paying 3, 2, 1, 0. Yeah, I mean them attacking into Luke. Getting the 4/4 swing, drawing 2 destiny, clearing him is annoying. So guide a Palp and move the team. I mean, right now there's only Luke Leia.
Paying 5.
It's interactive. Dr. Lack, what are you talking about? All right, so there's Lando.
No use pull.
Used pull. Oh, he can't use pull. He just went to use pull and he can't. Hang on.
Yep.
Oh wait, is the shield out?
Yes.
The
Wait.
shield is out, right?
He did pull it. We were talking about it
Yeah.
earlier.
No use pull because shield is out.
Yes, yeah,
Did
just use
he?
he just used both. Yeah.
Did he use pull? There's a shield out.
Right. We both missed it.
They got it.
Yes. So we fixed that. Learning speech lessons. Use pull gate denied. So that might change Hayes' plan. Yeah, he clearly wanted something. So
Burned Walkling.
Walkling retrieves. No secret plans.
Oh, because Coward is now satisfied.
So he needs to move Luke first. Hide plans now, I think. Yeah, I mean, so what's live left? Beggar, Revo, you don't really care about either of those a ton. I mean, Beggar withdraw their fire is a little annoying, but whatever. Uh, Harvest, so it's like secret.
He just battled.
Yeah, he retrieved 2 for free. Harvest, so code clearance is also a
Is
thing.
Casey
But
peeling from his force pile?
yes,
So
and
now he can't
only
play
has
You Are
2,
Beaten.
I think.
Yes, you can. He's still got 2.
No,
He
but
has
it's
first
3 withdraw their
strikeout,
fire.
or draw their fires out.
Oh, snappy.
So that means
I
Vader.
think he just paid 1 to add 5 to the power. Oh, does he still have the sniper dark strike though? Maybe he wants
Oh.
to hit Luke and then sniper him.
Sure.
So that's
But-
why he
but
added
the
to power
5 is
first
good.
before swinging.
That just causes more peeling.
He added 5 though instead of 3. But
Yeah.
but I mean, he didn't need to add 5. He should have swung first because if Luke is swung and operated on and he only adds 3 to power, it's 6 to 6. Leia's going to keep her forfeit.
Right.
Like
But now it's 6 to 8.
he only has 1 destiny in reserve. Who
Hayes.
does? Hayes? Yeah. Yeah, that's fine. He's not going to draw 2.
He looks for the verify. It's a 5-1-4.
5-1-4.
5-1-4. So.
It's just that 1 can't come up, or it's a miss.
Yeah. He might.
Let's see.
But actually,
I wonder if he swings at Leia.
Mouse luck or no?
Somebody's going to survive the battle because either misses a swing or draws the 1 for destiny, and the light side guys will be immune.
That's Hayes really wanted to see those numbers.
Yeah, having that 1 in there is big.
Yeah.
Hayes is.
And right now Hayes is like what up 13 to power, so it's 13 to 6.
So swing at Leia and hit despite the 1.
Yeah.
If you
Yeah.
draw, yes,
Yeah.
right, but then you
Because Luke's only less than 4.
Right.
That is the correct call for
Right.
sure.
Unless you draw
The 1 for battle destiny.
the 1 for destiny.
But at least
Yeah.
it gives you a
You have a
chance.
1/3 chance of drawing the 1 for destiny. So swing at Leia, but if you draw 5-4 on that, you're sad because then you should have swung at Luke.
Yeah.
So
4 and
4-6.
oh, it wasn't even a 1, so it doesn't matter. They're both dead.
Oh.
I thought that was a Lord Vader.
Okay, gotcha. Has the revive has been used to save Luke after a Maul battle earlier. Yep.
So Luke's hit.
Lando moved to the cantina. Does Hayes have 2 in force pile? Yes, he does. I can see multiple. I don't know exactly how many.
Leia dying without canceling any drains hurts.
It's a bummer.
But I get it.
She's immune less than 5 though. If he draws,
I think it's gonna be a 4.
Yeah.
We think it's a 4.
Yeah.
So she might be immune and be able to move into the hut and cancel.
Well, why not leave her out? Doesn't look like Casey has any characters in his hands.
Well, if he draws a 6 to kill Vader, yes. If Vader survives,
I'll expect this to
it
be
is
at
a
7.
6. Which he'll add 1/7. Oh, it's
No,
Blaster
that's-
controls. It's a 5.
Oh,
Leia
it's
will
a
die.
5. Yep.
What did you guys see in reserve? You were both like 5-4-1, and I was like, all right.
Whoa! I didn't say one. It was old Jeff. Don't throw
Okay,
me under the bus.
sure.
Play with less shiny cards is my comment there.
No, shiny cards.
All right, Vader dies. Everyone dies there. Lando, yes, I believe will move into. I wonder if he was gonna use pull like deflection or something like that. I wonder if when he was thinking he got one.
It's still kind of a dead heat here.
And we think no. There's the you were beaten is gone.
I think he.
Why? He had over.
Hmm. He didn't play the
Vader
sniper
didn't get
either.
hit. Why is you were beaten top of lost pile? One overflow. That makes sense. Once he adds one, so he drew a
So 5,
6.
6, 13, 6 is 19, plus the 1 is 20 to
11.
20
Vader's
to
in
11.
Vader
Vader
in
covers
one.
8.
Yeah,
And that's why he lost the you are beaten.
So what's the last card in his hand? Do we know?
sniper's extra.
Why didn't he
Still
play
the
that
sniper.
against Luke?
So he moves Lando in.
Yep.
Correct. And then pays 1 upkeep.
And Tarkin won't want to move in front of him, so it's just
Right, because the
trading
first
drains
strike,
it
so
too.
it's just drain 2, drain 2. He might even, well, he can't really move someone away because then shuffle battle.
If Casey gets low enough, there's one turn
So he
where
pays 3 to drain 2. Pays opts not to lose from hand. Interesting.
Yeah, I wouldn't lose from hand.
Hand is valuable here because 3PO is on
Has he
table.
walkling retrieved yet?
He did Walkling Retrieve last turn after playing the Lando to satisfy Coward.
if Casey gets down to 2, he can shuffle out and battle for the win.
Yeah, right. If he has at least 4 life force, he can. So yeah, he's moving both away to prevent that.
Yeah.
That's a good play by Casey.
It's only a drain
Casey's
of 1
playing this
there,
well.
though.
It's only a drain of 1, but it's a 4/4 swing. If he doesn't have enough right now that if he drains 2, he shuffles over, battles, first strike will kill him. I think he's got 4. Or no, let's see. He paid 3 to drain and 2 to move. He's got 5 plus 1 in hand is 6. If he drained him 2 of it, and then 4 for or draw their fire first strike would be 2. It's a 4/4 swing.
So Hayes has 3 turns.
Yeah, I think he moved it maybe a turn early. Doctory and move Grand Moff Tarkin should have been the line.
That's the one card he's holding.
He had it at one point at least on the
Yeah.
Jin Verify. I don't know that if it's that or Sniper right now that he's holding, but either way, he had it at one point recently. And then he.
To the draw their
Yeah,
strike
good point, Aaron. It's with Coward. It's only a 2/4 swing for the. Someone loses, but the other person doesn't retrieve. So Casey's left with 4 in deck and 1 in, or 5 in deck, 1 in hand.
Yeah.
That after he eats 2, he'll still be able to drain. There's sniper. And 4, which means he has 1 more round of drains. Hayes is gonna take. He has Yoda in hand.
He's got a Yoda.
I like that.
I think that's for next turn, because that'll let him retrieve 2. Yeah, no, you just pass turn. You let Casey pay to drain, and then you drain him 2. You battle and you retrieve 2, and he loses 2. First you retrieve 1, he loses 1, and then you retrieve 1, he loses the last one. Oh, for sure.
Hopefully.
Casey might draw up thinking it's a character. That's the thing. He might not do the last drain of 1 to try and because it's from Hayes' hand anyways.
So the thing is,
so why even try and get a drain of 1 from his hand? It only increases the lost pile count. 1 upkeep. I think he draws up here.
If he doesn't drain, it just decides to draw up Hayes.
That's what he's gonna do. That's exactly what he's gonna do.
3POs.
Yep, Hayes 3POs. Yeah, if it's a used interrupt.
Yeah.
So he's drawn up.
Yep.
Yeah, this is where Hayes should put the card back.
I think Casey played this game very well overall.
They both did.
I think one mistake was not saving enough peeling from force pile to
For the not that you are beaten.
Yeah.
Oh, he does put it back.
He strike forces.
So now Casey can't draw.
Wait. No. How did he put that? Oh no. He played quite a merc.
No, yeah. He put it back. He 3PO'd.
Yes.
Put a merc, played it. Casey grabbed it.
Yes.
But now Hayes is going to get 2 from that.
No, because he had to Yoda. He had to Yoda cycle down.
Oh.
So it didn't change anything.
Yeah,
if Casey would have drawn everything, or Hayes, yeah. Wait, 1 goes in lost pile. That last one goes in lost pile.
Yeah.
All right.
We are going to take a short break. That is the end of game 1. We'll let you guys know what the final count was here in a second.
show the table so we can see once it's starting. All right.
What's up?
We are about to start here game 2. Can you flip over to the other camera? Yeah, they're laying out stuff already. Okay, so first, before we get started with this game, hello, welcome back. I'm Joe Wilson, a Rebel Spy here,
Treadwell, Jeff Levine.
and we are commentating Game 2 of the Star Wars CCG 2023 World Championships between Hayes Hunter, who is at the top of your screen in the upper right live and playing the Dark Side deck on the upper half of the table, and Casey Annis is his opponent down in the lower left, currently still standing up, shuffling his deck. He'll be playing at the bottom part of the screen. Game 1 result is getting typed in right now. Hayes won by 11. That was a wild game. If you were jumping into this now and you did not see that, you should go back and watch. Casey got in a huge overflow for like 15-ish? 14. And then Hayes got in counter overflow for 14.
On the very next turn.
And so it was just this roller coaster of like Casey's going to crush him by 20 plus. Hayes has evened it up, and then Hayes edged it out. So it was a very well played game by both players. Super exciting one. So now we're starting into game 2. And this is going to be one where I think we see Captain Redbeard. Hell yeah.
And Joe, Casey
go
played this matchup against a very similar deck twice yesterday, right?
Correct.
It was very close both times.
Yeah, so Casey's deck, which we haven't seen on the screen yet, but we'll see in just a sec, is and we saw it earlier in a streamed game. I don't remember which round, but we have seen it on camera today against Choose Endor Operations. That's right. So it starts Endor Funeral Pyre, just a 2-0 location for light side, and 3 effects, heading for the medical for 3 effects, which are Like My Father Before Me, the Jedi Luke Helper, I Must Be Allowed to Speak, the farm card, and Walkling.
Yes.
And it plays it plays a bunch of mains and lightsabers. It has Home 1, Akbar Leadership. Oh, we also saw it against Brian Fred's Invasion, right?
Yes, we did.
And Home 1 Akbar Leadership. It plays a bunch of Jedi Lukes, some High Destinies, and a bunch of it's Jedi Council Chamber, Boss Nass Chambers, and a bunch of Twix Pullers. So his goal is to get all his activation out quick and beat you up with mains.
Yeah, Tom's saying Home 1 is bad for Hayes. This version plays 2 systems, so he'll be pretty effective at running away and just satisfying battle plan.
Yeah, that's right. So Hayes is doing a slip sliding away deck that starts the desert and Jabba's Palace. You Cannot Hide Forever, Jury Juice, and Jabba's Haven, and he's going to use You Cannot Hide Forever to pull Rendili and Jabba's Haven to pull Nahada, so there's 2 systems. In case he only has the one ship, he'll only be able to cover one of them, and Hayes will just kind of bounce him back and forth in between the other one. So they'll both survive battle plan. Casey will be chasing, so he'll be getting in a drain of 1, maybe 2 if he wants to sit at a system with scanner techs, but then Hayes would be getting his one, so it's a wash. Yep.
I think Hayes will be pretty satisfied to just survive in space and run around.
That's right. Hayes' goal, and that's the reason why Darkside Space is kind of in a rough spot right now. Light's very efficient with their Han Chewie Falcon package, and that means that Dark is just trying to survive and then win on the ground basically through damage and battles and things like that. Yes, Bastion is right. Hayes will give a lot of activation to Casey. He's going to give him 2 at the Cantina, 1 at Jabba's Palace, 1 at the Audience Chamber, 1 at Nalhada, and 1 at Rendili. So he'll give 6 icons. Casey will likely give Hayes 0 icons.
Well, he plays the farm.
Oh, that's right.
I think he will pull
1
that.
icon. You're right. You're right. He will give Hayes 1 icon. Hayes' goal with this deck, he wants to go to the Cantina. He wants to go to a system and survive, like we were talking about. Go to the Cantina with like Jasper. Wooher can kill weapons immediately there in the Cantina and droids, and then use on the ground, and Lord Maul can go in there and drain +1 with his saber, and does not get killed by Wooher because he's an EPP, not a weapon card.
And he's probably going to be putting Casey. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah, go ahead.
He's probably going to put Casey in a similar position where Hayes is going to get the Cantina with some dudes in it and pull the I'm Bat Shield, and Casey's going to have to decide whether to get his use pulls or to go to the Cantina or he can go to the Jabba's palace sites. But he's gonna have to sacrifice the use pulls if he wants to fight directly in the cantina.
Dan went in to mess with the camera, and now it's off kilter. I think it was better before, but um, you made it worse.
Freaking Hayes. He's too tall.
He's too tall.
His
Hayes maybe
gangly
bumped
limbs hit
into
him.
the camera. Um, it needs to go down and left a little, but if it's not perfect, it's fine. Um, So Hayes' goal with this is he, like we were talking about, survive in space, joust to the cantina, start doing damage, and then he's playing a bunch of like Dooku's and Force Lightnings and Choke Vader and Destiny 6s and 7s. There's a sneak attack and there's a Forlom to cycle Destinies, and he's basically trying to cycle and track high Destinies and Force Lightning and choke things and that sort of thing to maintain board control over the ground.
Also, a lot of evasion. I think double barrier, double stunning leader, which helps you pick your fight.
Yep, and we
Make it
saw
most
that
efficient.
earlier in the Ryan Jellison
Yes.
WAP game where Hayes was just stunning leader in the throne room, the Naboo throne room, Theed Palace. So that'll be used in the audience chamber and in the cantina as well.
Do we know, is Casey running any harvest in this deck?
I don't believe he has any harvests.
Okay.
So yesterday, a little background. Yesterday, Casey played this light deck, and he played against Hayes using almost the same dark deck. They both changed a couple cards in the evening, I believe, but essentially the same decks within a few cards of yesterday. And Casey won by 1. And yesterday, Casey played this light deck against me, playing a very similar dark deck within a few cards, and he beat me by 2. So he's already 2-0 against this deck yesterday, against Hayes and against myself, but by 1 force and 2 force. So very close games, very strategic games. Casey played them very well.
That speaks to how well he's been playing this whole tournament.
Absolutely. He's had a great run. He's been playing well.
Highest 6 and 2.
Right now,
What's that?
He was the highest 6 and 2.
Oh, he was the
he was
highest,
the highest 6
6
and 2
seed.
player. So he was the third seed. There was two
Yep.
7 and 1s,
Third seed.
and he was the third seed as the highest 6 and 2.
He was one. Bad mouse was
So he's been playing great. But like I said, they were by 1 and 2 force, and he lost game 1 by
Close,
11.
grindy games, yeah.
And he needs to win by 11 plus or maybe 12 plus.
And so I'll be looking to see if he takes more risks than he did in those day 1 games, which could end up paying off, or they could accelerate the demise. It just depends on how it goes,
That's
obviously.
right. The other question is the variance thing we brought up last game, where we were like, Casey's hunt down last game got opening hand Cold Feet, which is a shield puller to stop Hayes shield busting, Vanny and another Twix and Forlom. Like, that's an insanely good opening hand.
And then the bridge the following turn.
Right. Yesterday against me, Casey opening handed both Boss Nate's Chambers and JCC. Same thing against Hayes. He opening handed yesterday. He opening handed pullers for both of them. And so both those games yesterday, he got both of his activation cards opening hand, and he still only won by 1 and 2. So if he doesn't get those this game, it
It could
might be more of a
snowball
struggle.
worse. And that's one of the strengths of the dark side platform, is it's quite automatic with its setup. There's a little variance, but looks like Hayes playing double back to pull Forlom.
Forlom or Fett.
Oh yeah, I'm curious to see which of those he goes for
I
first.
think likely Forlom, because Hondo can pull Fett, but it's possible, and he might have one of them in hand already, but
Yep,
he does
with
go
the
Forlom. Forlom's going to be crucial for cycling those 7s to track to Force Lightning and Chokin. So, yeah, I think we'll see what Casey gets for that. Oh, you were saying about the automaticness of this dark.
Yeah. The dark side platform, it gets to pull 2 systems with the different effects that are both drain -1. Then it pulls the audience chamber with Jabba's palace. So you're putting out, 2, 4, 6 additional icons. You don't have to use any pullers for that, and it's fairly automatic.
Yeah, Tom, you said Hondo's my favorite card you guys play. Good find. It's great to get that Fett to guarantee that space. What we were finding is turn 1, a lot of times we'd be like, just draw a couple, whatever. Turn 2 would be Joss to the Cantina from the Cantina text from
downloadable.
deck. Audience Chamber to pull Hondo from deck, and Hondo to pull Fett from deck. So you are at 3 battlegrounds, satisfying resistance and threatening a drain of 4 with no cards required from hand. Like
That's
there, I mean, you can
insane.
miss pulls obviously, but there's a lot of automaticity built into all your locations are pullable without needing. So you give up a lot of icons, but it's all just you get a bunch. It's automatic. And Tom Struther has sort of shifted the game this way in a lot of ways to just being like, I just want to activate 14 on my turn 2 and do whatever I want to do.
So we see Nalhutta, and he's trying to decide between his two sites. I've always wondered,
You know,
do you pull the 1-0 Jabba's Palace site or the audience chamber first?
that's a good question. I would say if it's a platform deck like 0 Hour QMC, something where you're like, I just want to start setting up damage, set up my free space, I would probably pull Audience Chamber to make sure next turn I didn't activate it, so I could do that Hondo Slave 1 path.
Oh, yep.
Here, I don't think you're going to be going as fast. So, and since you had that Forlom, I think Dungeon into Forlom, it makes Forlom deploy -1 there, and then you can start your cycling. It depends if you have stuff in hand to cycle to. Either one is valid depending on your hand and the matchup.
So we got Cantina. Oh, I forgot to mention that Cantina is another pullable site. So that it's actually 8 icons that you throw down on turn 2 or turn
Hey,
1.
Sean, are you supposed to be watching this? Or are you supposed to be working on your thesis? Get
Aut-
back to work.
He could have said automation, but automaticity is still a word, I believe.
You, okay, Tom says he doesn't think the 1-0 was in there. It might not have been. He might have activated that, so
Okay,
he had
yeah.
no choice. Um, looks like I saw a Gallet in hand, maybe a P59. All right,
So,
so
yep, this is the automatic setup we're talking about, and you just get to activate so much so quick.
He also looks like he opening handed his something special playing grabber, so that's huge because
Yeah.
he did not need to ditch You Cannot Hide Forever. Hayes' plan in this is keep You Cannot Hide Forever on the table to make those Jedi defense value -1, and but that means you don't get that second grabber. But being able to opening hand, it means cool, you can still grab something else and have that -1. This sort of automation is what we're trying to get away from. That's a good question. It's how do you prevent so slip sliding used to have accept palace sites, right? So it's sort of stopped that one, but you could always just go back to a Coruscant CRV and do Coruscant into Shuzor's Palace and flood the board with those plus Rindili and that sort of thing. So I mean, there's a lot of cards that sort of allow this thing. You'd have to change a lot. This isn't like a new platform based on new cards.
So the one thing to note is that in the Coruscant version, you can't play the Jabba's Haven, so you can't have 2 system pullers, which would slow it down.
That's right.
A bit.
Unless you were playing Coruscant, the 2-1.
Oh yeah, there you go.
If you weren't doing the Twix, you'd give up an extra icon, but you're sort of at that point
That's
like,
fine.
eh.
All right, so yeah, Hayes unsurprisingly just did draw and save. That's what this deck does. And
Yeah.
it can explode on the board with whatever it wants next turn.
Yep. Hayes is going to be looking for a barrier so that he can go to space and not worry about the home one coming and just beating him up a bunch. And then he can just run. SSA could be an issue, but what about CRV? Like that's still a thing. You could get rid of SSA, but then you got to completely redesign walkers. I mean, walkers would go back to probably Hoth CRV. Um, yeah. You can start Silence is Golden to pull the workshop and then float Haven Nalhada Surface D. You can. It's less automatic.
Yeah, less automatic. So Casey, I have not seen him use any location puller yet.
For those of you wondering
Okay.
who's typing the nonsense from the SWCCG PC, that is Dan. So say hi, Dan.
And
he's the one trolling the chat.
Yep. I will note, as Joe mentioned, there's a higher variance in Casey's deck, and it looks like this time he did no location pullers, and he's going right to his draw phase.
That's gonna be tough. That's gonna be. Oh, Hayes pulled the Senate Shield.
I think he's afraid of the
Sense
redraw.
recoil.
Yeah.
Tosh.
Yeah, it protects against Grimtosh too.
It does protect
Dan
against
pointed
Grimtosh,
out.
which I would not expect, but
Right.
it protects against a 3-card recoil. If Casey's hand is so bad that he goes, I want to spin 3 to recoil and try and get all my activation,
Hayes
then
doesn't wanna
Hayes
lose
gets
his
to keep
hand.
his hand. He
And I
must
think,
like what he's got.
Yeah, I think Hayes is pretty happy with how this has started.
Yeah, and that's what we were talking about last game with that variance of like you can either get a great hand and roll, or you can not, and then you're kind of in a little bit of trouble.
Yep.
You want to talk about
Yeah,
the
yeah.
site
The
placement?
other thing that we were talking about with this version of the desert landing site is the islands concept. If you notice, it goes battleground, non-battleground, non-battleground. Um, it just makes it hard for if Lightside ends up at the wrong site, really hard for them to march over to you.
And
Gives you places to run.
Light tends to want to have a than this dark deck specifically have a few more guys. Like Light will probably put multiple guys at a site, and Dark just wants one guy, one guy,
Yes.
one guy. So it's a lot easier to be like, cool, I'll move this one guy, but to move everyone through stuff is a lot more of a pain. Um,
It's also hurts run Luke run because Luke might have to be sitting at a non-battleground, which is bad. Um, and yeah, to add to Joe's point about the guys, Darkseid trades more effectively because of the tricks in the deck. So often it takes 2 or 3 light guys to effectively battle into a light or to a dark side, and then it's hard to move that stack through the islands.
So this Jury Juice version is what we played yesterday, but Hayes and I played a slightly different version today. Today I was not playing Jury Juice, and I was doing the lower passages as a third site, so no Cantina, because I was anticipating slightly different decks. And so there are a couple different builds of this that are all viable. So we see Hondo and Fett come out.
And that's all downloadable from Reserve Deck, which is very strong.
Yeah, Mr. Branch, that is. I agree that that is something. From my understanding, is super high fast activations is on the radar. And I made a comment recently. There's like 14 people on CBT, so like I have a vote in what happens, but it's pretty minor voice. But it's definitely something I agree with you. And I said something recently about like us exploding activation out, so we're on the mid game by turn 2 is maybe not the direction we want to go. But it's not an easy problem to solve either. Speaking of CBT, while we're in between here, the ROPS change was the most recent one, and it has been phenomenal. I've heard so much good feedback because essentially ROPS was the deck. Desai was playing it, I was playing it, Pistone was playing it, our whole team was playing it. We spent a bunch of time on it, and
Yeah, even Dan played it.
yeah, Dan's like it was obvious. It had iterated to the point where it was the best deck to where it was not only going to be the day 2 deck, it was the day 1 deck, which meant everyone was going to spend another month grinding games against ROPS in the lead up to Worlds, and then playing 8 games of ROPS at Worlds, and it just sounded exhausting. And I think there was just such a deck variety here. Everyone had a whole month to figure out like what do we like, what do we not like, and still ended up kind of going, I don't know, and not necessarily from a lack of time, but just because the meta's so wide open. I think you give us another 2 months, 3 months, the meta's just very like rock paper scissors, lots of things that are viable, and Rops was just sort of heavy-handed, like this is the deck, and yeah, I'm pretty happy we got rid of that.
So Hayes, is threatening he's threatening barrier, he's threatening stunning leader, may have a kick as well.
Yeah,
Makes it really
right.
unattractive to try to fight because like if you deploy a good guy into the audience chamber and then the battle gets canceled, you're just stuck there.
I'm surprised that Forlom hasn't come down. I'm surprised, kind of surprised it didn't come down on turn 1. Um,
Well,
yeah, I mean,
it goes by what's in your force pile, and
right. If you
sometimes
don't have stuff to cycle, you don't need to do it early.
and sometimes
But
the stuff in your hand, you're like, I want to keep all this. So
absolutely.
it's less of a priority. There's a weapon lev in there that won't come into play.
The
Oh, there's his
JCC and battle planes. The yeah, I mean one, yeah.
So Casey's looking to get something cooking here. He did a verify. He might be checking to see if his pullers will work.
Now this is one of those little things that will probably never matter, but those little things add up. I don't like that Hayes put the ship to Rendili instead of Nalhada, and here's why. Nalhada search
Yep.
can be a good control phase search to plan out your turn, and if home 1 goes there, it turns off that search. So I mean, maybe his plan is home 1 comes onto me, I barrier and then move there, but you generally want to be there to allow that search.
And that is a very good point.
Prevent
And
light
those
from
little things
controlling
add
it.
up.
It could be a bait.
So Luke comes down
And sticks, it looks like.
and gets a use pull.
I'm surprised Hayes didn't pull a shield for that.
The shield would still not stop it because it's a Jabba's Palisade.
Right.
Yeah. Only the cantina is the one that stops it.
Yeah, Cantina and then non-battleground sites.
So
would stop
with
that.
Luke, look how far Luke is from the cantina. So
Right. Luke
That's
wants to
like-
avoid the cantina anyway because of Wooher.
Oh yeah, true.
So yeah, Casey's perfectly happy having Luke there or at Jabba's palace.
As Casey just said, it'll play Cantina Brawl.
Yeah, as Dan pointed out, unless there's Cantina Brawl.
I don't think likely. I did get Cantina brawled yesterday though, twice. Against V's was playing a Watcher Step with the Cantina Brawl. He blew up my Emperor. Actually, we both did. We both drew a 7. He had tracked a 7, and I blind drew a 7. It was this SSA deck with a Phantom Menace, so my Emperor died. Alright, so he's reading Hondo. Hayes is looking through his shields. Jim Thomas heart emoji, and I think maybe the Cantina Brawl. He loves those quirky stuff.
No, I think it was the previous statement.
Or Dan thinks it was to his last comment on the chat. Maybe that too. We'll say it's some of both.
It certainly wasn't for Joe's jokes, that's for sure.
No.
Alright, Hayes doesn't pull a shield after reading every one of them. Hayes has a sense recoil in hand. That's interesting.
And that's a good feeling to have.
Right. Protect your stuff if you stunning leader and he senses, you can sense back. Neither has pulled the sack shield. I wonder what Casey is. So Casey uses like my father to pull a saber. If Casey can get a lot of drains at 3 through, he can. I mean, this game is definitely winnable by more than 11.
Yeah, for sure.
He looks like he also puts Bionic Can on Luke, so Luke's gonna be immune less than 9. Defense value 7. He's gonna be very hard to kill. This happened to me yesterday. That Luke was very hard to kill.
And here comes the stunning leader.
Yeah. If I'm Casey, I consider grabbing that. Even though it's a lost interrupt, it makes the second one more expensive. It means you can't no escape it. But
Well-
nope, he says okay.
What worries?
Erica's not going to come into play this game.
No, Erica's not going to come into play this game. What worries me for Casey
Why
is
is
how,
Erica not going to come into play?
because Luke. I mean, she can still go to. She
For
actually
retrieving. No, she'll go to the
She'll go wide,
non-battlegrounds
yeah.
and drain.
Yeah,
Her
at the
goal
Pyre.
is not to retrieve 1; it's
Yeah,
to drain
yeah.
for 2.
So what worries me for Casey is Hayes is draining free now. He's happy. It's so expensive to get home 1 out to also drain free. That's like losing
Right.
a whole
If he
turn.
had his other 5 icons out, but
Right,
he
he's
doesn't
got
have
no
any
activation.
of those. I'm surprised he didn't use pull into a speak to get out of activation. I think he used pulled into a trick or something.
Oh, he actually lost the farm. I don't know if he did that on purpose.
Gee.
That's more activation.
So Casey right now is getting 2, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10.
Plus Walkling, or did you already count that?
I counted
Okay.
that. Hayes is giving him 6 of his 10.
I'm counting 11 if you count your like self force. Maybe I'm wrong. 2, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. No, you're right.
10, yeah. So he's getting 10, 6 of them from Hayes and 4 from himself, his starting site, Walkling, and himself. Hayes might just activation run away from this because Hayes is getting
And now I expect to see Maul.
14. So it's 14 to 10. If Casey got out his other 5, he'd be ahead. But yeah, that Lars farm being lost, how did it just got lost to the drain?
I don't. Yeah, I can't imagine he lost it from hand, but
Yeah.
Justin saying
But
he's
why
going
wouldn't he
to
have pulled it?
capital run away with this.
Don't underscore the mental impact of the last game on Casey. Sure, that roller coaster of I'm going to win by 20 plus to I lost by 11 is
It's
like, yeah.
So I'm expecting to see.
He lost it from hand. So I think that's a bad play because
has
not
no
only are you only
icons.
activating 10, but if you play that between the Cantina and Desert Landing Site, you can deploy there, get your used pulls, and move into Cantina.
It also prevents Darkseid from deploying Maul for free or 2
And moving in.
him over. And so like Hayes is
I
going to be
don't
looking
get
to set
that.
up.
Maybe he just drew into a bunch of his activation and
Is
he was
that-
like, I don't need this.
So
It is
Hayes put
Erica.
Erica at.
I guess he's just wanting to
Oh, he
start
wants to do the
damage
peak.
rolling. Yeah, but put her at the Pyre. Looks like he took maybe a Kylo?
He had a Kylo and a choke Vader.
I think
on
she
there.
should be going to the Pyre right now.
Certainly
And someone else to Cantina.
might not
'cause
just wanna-
Hondo might die.
leave a beat down.
But he might just be trying to stay alive at a battleground site because he's planning on moving Hondo in.
Yeah, he certainly will run
he
away.
needs to get to Jabba's palace and play resistance and battle plan. Decide like sort of the cantina. Yeah, I mean, if you had somebody else, maybe Josper wasn't in deck.
I'd like to see a Maul or something with
There's
her.
Vader, Galad. He's 2 for Forlom.
So the question is does Casey have any characters that can go down and beat down Erica?
Yeah, so Casey's characters, he's got Qui-Gon Serene Jedi. He's got Screaming Lando. He's got Leia. Casey's got lots of guys.
Oh yeah, it's a good call.
You can always get Erica back with Jabba's Haven, though a lot of times you might want to save that for a ship because a ship might die and then you just replay it to the other system.
There's Dooku
Yeah, so
to the Jabba's palace.
and I think Hondo's gonna move in.
There's not a lot of EPGs
6 for
into
Dooku.
Casey's deck.
And now he plays the Resistance and the
Dooku's-
Battle Plan.
Yep. Dooku's one of my favorite guys in this deck because he can pull Force Lightning or Force Push. You can sneak attack a 7 on top.
It's amazing to
ridiculous.
have him in an interior site and they battle and you go, I'll upload Force Lightning and then I'll
Sneak
sneak
attack.
attack a 7 and then I'll Stunning Leader. And then you're like, cool, you didn't even have a chance to swing at him. Battle's
Yep.
over.
And
Zap
you
with the
lost.
7 I just put on top. Like,
Yeah.
yeah.
How many times do you guys do that?
It happens. It's more of an option. It doesn't always happen. It's a lot to have happen. But like, yeah, sneak attacking into him going in, Force Lightning, pushing out of a battle, like.
He's a very unattractive target for that reason.
Yeah, so Erica here, he must have had no one else to go with, and Joss was activated because Erica here is fine. It gets him to the 3rd battleground. It keeps him on multiple site battlegrounds. Ooh, he's going for the
Jin.
beatdown, and he's probably going to lose Forlom.
But
It's does he have run
interior.
Luke run?
Um,
Home run right now would be good. I think he's going to go for a run Luke run battle. Hayes is probably going to lose Forlom, which hurts really bad for his cycling.
Sure, but I think he's okay
Hayes
with
probably
that.
has Gick, possibly Stunning Leader.
I don't think he puts Erica alone without whatever was going to protect
It's not
her.
Erica, it's Hondo. Jin just
No.
wanna,
I mean, what I mean is he
Oh,
wouldn't have put Erica
that
alone.
Erica?
Whatever protection he had for her.
will also apply to Hondo.
Correct.
Sure. It might be a barrier and he just lets Jin through here and then he's going to barrier whatever else is big. But if Jin can battle run Luke run,
Oh, yeah.
the barrier's not sufficient.
Oh, there's
so there's
Qui-Gon.
Qui-Gon. Hayes is thinking. He says how much force you have left. Yeah, he's thinking about the barrier. But if there's a run Luke run, he kind of wants to save the barrier for home 1. That's why I think he doesn't have Gick in hand because otherwise you don't be thinking about this. And he's like, is he going to have the saber? Casey spins. He says it's okay. Casey spins 4 for Leia.
Is that?
Does
It's only battlegrounds, right?
I think it's only battlegrounds that speak works.
And it doesn't look like he's going for one, so.
Yeah, and she only retrieves on battlegrounds.
Correct. Yeah. No, it's to a Tatooine site. So if
Oh.
Casey remembers, he can get a pull. It's not battlegrounds. Tom thinks he saw Gick in Hayes' hand at the start. That's quite possible. This morning, when I emailed in my deck lists, we put the jump files together last night, and then morning of changes. My one note in the email was -1 Masterful and Gick plus 2 Gick combos. So we went up to 2 Gicks. So that's Hayes is gotta feel good about that. Leia does not retrieve. She is not at a battleground.
Yeah, and so.
It looks like he is used pulling, right?
Yeah. Assuming Hayes
Yeah,
has
they
the
picked up
Gick,
and
he's
read it.
fine with this. I mean, losing Forlom hurts a little. But having all those dudes committed to a non-battleground feels pretty good.
Right. He'll be able to split them out between the two Jabba's Palace and the Audience Chamber, but then he's going to take a drain of 2 and 1.
Be
And
walking in front of Dooku.
Yep.
Force Lightning's a thing.
This is Hayes' deck is a very control-based deck. It's triple Force Lightning, and it's trying to just zap kill dudes out of battle or choke people in battle. My version today was playing 2 Mull Strikes also because I was anticipating possibly facing some of those Yoda-muting Jedi Biz, and so I had 3 Force Lightnings and 2 Mull Strikes, and I was just going to go ham just removing people out of battle.
Yeah. Doesn't really want to fight until it's mid to late game.
Yeah.
Funny enough, we put you on AOBS.
You put me on Black Sun. Yeah, I mean, people think I try to change decks. I didn't change much. We switched to shield busting today. This is actually one of the few majors I didn't drastically change. But a lot of times I change decks, and it keeps it hard to put me on decks.
Yeah.
So Gik was verified in that last hand reveal.
Okay.
And now Hayes is playing. He's sensing the Wisa combo, which is kind of hilarious, or the Wisa card.
Really good.
Oh yeah, so that he doesn't
Get
let
the
him.
sight
Yeah, he must have used pulled
for
that
the
to try and get
Wisa.
activation, and Hayes is like,
That's
nah.
brutal. Because
Yeah.
right now he's activating 10,
Yeah.
and that's like,
And he must have just blown most of his hand to do this.
yep.
And he gets a first strike.
So the Gik goes through. There's no sack shield out, so that just dies.
Yep. And now Casey
Oh, now
pulls his
goes the
sack
sack
shield,
shield.
which is interesting because Casey played Sense against me yesterday in this light deck. So I wonder if he cut it for today,
No.
or if he's just like, I don't know how much you're playing, and it might be more than mine, so I need to play this.
There's Leia's gun.
Okay. So he's gonna shoot Forlom Lost before the Gik happens. But either way, if he has to Gik, both characters are dying.
And once he's dead, he's dead. Unless I guess unless you have no escape,
Yeah, or Afra,
which we don't.
which is not in here, but.
You're not playing Afro.
No, she's not.
You'd
too
have
much
to
of a
lean into.
liability.
We actually tested a build of this that used Undercover Erica, and it used you 3PO and Afra, because Afra you can't swap in the sewer anymore. She used to back in the Broken Black Sun worlds, but you can't swap with her in Black Sun to keep recurring you 3PO, but you can with Jabba's Haven still. So you could be like Afra, and then she get back you 3PO, and then they kill it again, and then you she dies, Jabba's Haven her, you 3PO again, like you play him 3 times. It's annoying, but we ended up not loving that version. I mean, of course she can get back,
That's
you
a
know,
little bit more
P59 and stuff,
stupid
but
amount of control.
the way this is shaping out, if Hayes had lost game 1 by 25, we'd be really interested in it. Yeah, I mean, this is that activation, and it's that variance, man.
Yep.
If Casey had both those out right now, we'd be saying, man, he's getting 15 to 14, and this is going to kill the Forlom for cycling, and Jedi Luke's draining for 3, and this is close, but
He
all
drew
right.
the boss Nass with Leia's gun, I think.
Yep.
Ah.
Yep.
And even Forlom has armor. It doesn't matter. He's going to lose it all to the power difference. Jin is 4, Qui-Gon's.
Oh, for sure. He's
Yeah.
he's
And he draws a 6 for
6.
Destiny. It's fine. Wooher is a 2.
I think so. Yeah, he's
Could be a
2.
3, but I think he's a 2. Yeah, it doesn't matter. So, uh, and then he'll probably lose Jin so that he gets the peak to know what he's going for. Yeah, you don't lose Qui-Gon or Leia there, so he's counting up power. And I think if it's more than about 3, Hayes will lose a Gik.
Woohers are 3.
Wooher's a 3, okay. So Hayes is 8. Sounds like 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I would think 9, but lip reading it looked like he said 8. Maybe he was 18. Jin dies. Let's see if he remembers to peek. Doesn't look like it. Did Casey not peek? Is he gonna remember to peek? So both of those die, and let's see if he gets. He does.
Yep.
Now I think you grabbed that as Casey.
That's like your only out is a.
That's one of your big outs,
beatdown.
at least. Yeah, is a run beatdown. I'm generally a fan of some of your decks, Joe Hayes, but this one is a good. I'm not generally a fan of some of our decks, but this is good. Yeah, it's fun. It's. I mean, Justin, you remember you won Worlds that year, the Naboo CRV deck, right? It was like Naboo, and of course the base of this credit for the entire base of this deck goes to Tom
Yep.
and his like SSA stuff, and
also
how he won which event was it? He wrote that whole long tournament report for the PC 20 or something.
No, it was
or
one of
the-
those. It was like Grievous Gambit or one of those like deck box series ones.
I thought it was the PC-20.
Was it?
Yeah.
Oh, maybe that's what it was.
I
yeah.
hate it. I would never play anything like this. Sure.
Yeah.
But the whole SSA thing, all Tom and that report, you should go read that whole report if you
That's
haven't.
amazing.
He posts the
Yeah.
replays and everything. But then it's like the Naboo CRV where we were like, we at that point, I think I won an NPC running that Naboo CRV with like triple Force Lightning. I remember zapping B-Fred's Jedis like 4 times off of 3 Force Lightnings because no escape and just like playing at total control. It's really fun to play if you enjoy tracking and manipulating and just removing stuff out of battle. It could probably be frustrating to play against.
So now he's draining 4 for free.
Yeah.
It's funny how you guys have worked through like a lot of controls. You have the new Naboo CRV, you have the Jakku CPV.
Yep.
Now you're on this. And great that this is a Tom creation. But you know how you guys
The
have
BB-8
different-
Shadows last year and the Yoda last year, I was like, this is what you brought? No, this one. The Shadow Collective Force Servitude deck was really good because you could sense all the counter stuff and use it as a low destiny and then draw it as a high destiny. Like that,
Yeah,
that was a good deck.
and JNAP, it's fun when you do it to your opponent. Less fun when it gets done to you.
Yes, yes. I expect to see a big rise in Indoor Celebration combo to cancel that Force Lightnings.
And Choke Vader is another very important element of the deck because there's really very little to stop him.
Increase in uncontrollable fury.
And Padme.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, but it's very strategic to play. It's a chess match, and
That's what makes this game good.
and like I said, Casey played this light deck against this, and he beat Hayes by 1 and me by 2. It's very it's strategic, but you know here he got both activation against both of us those games, and Kyle did that and Sense My Red. I think those interrupts were the only cards I put in my lost pile. Ugh. Black Sun should be credited for Force Lightning abusive tech. Um, in the past eras, a long time ago, it was more about that. Now nobody kind of ever deploys into Emperor, and,
Yeah, you
and
just play
Dooku
one to cycle.
is the key to Force Lightning
Yep.
because you can offensively go play it. And I know a
Oh,
lot of people thought maybe that should be taken out when we did the reset
now we have Isard wide,
at the one location she can go to.
and that's going to be really
Um,
annoying because
Now the question is though, does he have a second Gick? Because that's not interior for a stunning.
Yeah.
He maybe he's going to deploy someone else with there to help shore that up. Of course, a dude in Clash could also kill that. There's the answer for why Erica's in the cantina. Quite possibly, he might have just already had the other spy. Um, I don't think I've. JNAP says I don't think I've ever Force Lightning lost in Black Sun. I mean, maybe for Jin, right? But they'd be kind of silly to deploy her in front of him if you're already at like 1-1-1. Why would you go to the dude who can Force Lightning? Um,
like the guys that you have to.
I'm gonna cry now. Tom Kelly.
Listen, yeah, we did it to
Uh,
yesterday.
this finals is similar to Bastard. Um, yeah, yeah, we've had a lot of crazy finals. I mean, this one, the game one was super wild, and now Hayes is just locking it down. He's just going, you didn't draw your activation. I'm just gonna sense your activation puller, go to these locations, just start the damage. Why didn't I just draw for Corin Horn? We're at that same hotel right now. 5 years ago, same hotel was the Black Sun Worlds where Bastion beat Tom Kelly.
Yeah. Different room.
I would tell you to go watch that on YouTube, but Tom might not appreciate that. No one should ever see that game again, I think.
I watched it before I came.
That
Hayes is drawing.
yeah.
So
I mean, that's the beauty of this game. It's there's always what ifs. It's fun.
the one thing I'll point out, if
Thanks, Harpster. I like it too. It's fun. It's like that Nabusu. It's Force Lightning. It's got double choke Vader, so you track a 7 and you go choke that Jedi Luke. Of course, there's counters too, right?
TTU sucks,
moments,
yeah.
like
Mhm.
and there's counterplay. That's what's nice about it is this deck. Like there are lines, but you can. It's totally beatable too.
one thing Hayes he
You
probably will remember is if Casey attempts a neighboring and you have your neighboring cancel their get combo, that part's not immune to sense.
Yeah.
So he needs to let the neighboring happen, well, potentially based on the
And
board
then
state,
gig
but
everything.
and
Yeah.
then
But
gig
a
out
lot
of
of
the
times it's
battle.
good to strand people anyway.
Or you just play Uta Soul.
So Harpster,
Yeah.
Indoor Grand Prix this year is the weekend before Halloween. Halloween is like on a Tuesday, and the Indoor Grand Prix is the Friday, Saturday, Sunday before that. So around the 28th-ish, whatever. That weekend right before Halloween, down at our usual spot near the airport. Everybody
get-
here should come to Seattle for the next major after Worlds, which is the
Come-
Indoor Grand Prix, but especially you, Harpster, because you live an hour away.
Come get drunk with me on my birthday or before my birthday.
And it's right before Dan's birthday, so drinks are on him.
Yep.
Okay. Everybody gets.
Oh, good. Harpster says he'll be there.
So we got a barrier on Lando.
Okay.
We-
I wonder if he's drawn into 2 now, so he's not as. Oh, you can't afford home 1 without those Twixes.
That's what I'm
You're getting
saying.
10 a turn. You can't afford 12. Indoor Grand Prix is awesome. Hey, Kyle. Kyle Colleen will be there.
So
I will be there. Jeff will be there.
I
Dan will
think
be there.
He's got a use pull. I think he's trying to take. I think he just took quite a mercenary with his use pull, even though that Lando's barriered.
To stop another stunning leader.
Yeah, exactly.
Potentially blanks Doctor E, also stops Ellis, but really stops the stunning. Is the Euro Championships not a major? Oh, it's a huge major. It's that. Thank you for the correction, Kevin. Euros is the next major in about a month in Bochum,
Welcome.
uh, Germany, and we're sending at least one American. Tommy is headed over, but if any Americans can make that, you should. Amazing tournament, and I know a bunch of us are planning on attending Worlds next year. Um, and
Joe, they revoked your visa
my visa.
to Germany next year.
Americans don't need a visa to go into Germany. We have an agreement with the Schengen area where you can go visa free and get visa on arrival. So I'm good. So the Americans that live in Europe don't count. They don't count.
They're Europeans at
Having to
this
travel,
point.
yeah, having to travel overseas is the what counts
Okay,
towards
so
kudos,
I
major kudos.
I'm
All right.
expecting a choke Vader to come clear Lando for free next turn.
So Leia moves in to go with Luke, and Qui-Gon moves out in front of Dooku. Dark is gonna drain 2 and 1 for free, and then, like you said, probably choke Vader on Lando. We saw that in hand
Do you think the turn Casey came down with Luke, he was only facing a drain of 1 and 1. He would have been better served just drawing
for activation,
even up to 20, pulling his shield and keeping the 2 activation pullers, and just it's like you lose 2 force, but then you.
and a whole turn of momentum. But at least yeah,
But this is like
probably.
I'm just.
You don't get to keep them. Like if
You do. You
You get to
use the
pick. You
shield
get
that
to
lets you
keep
keep
2.
two, set two aside, and
Does
keep them, and
isn't
then
that only if they monarchy?
No, even if they use their drop or throw them back on
yeah,
you.
yep.
So it's like it's hard to do that, but I think without the activation, and he's spending force each turn. Verifying the reserve deck. Pretty
All right.
mixed
There's a
bag.
Josper in there, so at the very
Okay.
least you deploy him against Lando too, and you get the peak and take a card, and it's extra power. Um, Lando, of course, is going to retrieve that Jedi Luke and add it to his power.
Gonna be a powerful dude.
A
Powerful
very,
Lando.
very angry Lando.
This is where if Forlom was alive, it gets dangerous for light side.
Right. If that Forlom was out, and you could have cycled something, then Dooku's zapping that Qui-Gon, and then this game's like
It's just
out
hard
of
to move.
reach.
Yeah.
But killing that Forlom was actually really big.
Mm-hmm.
Forced out a Gick.
Playing force push.
Force push.
He's putting back a force lightning.
And let's see, we see a Dark Time, a Stunning,
Another force lightning.
a P59.
Hey.
I think he's gonna put back the Dark Time. He doesn't have a lot of. No, maybe not.
I think he put
looks
back
like
a maul because he has a couple.
He had 2 mauls in hand, and he put one back.
Oh, okay, she's a
Shizor.
good card.
Yeah, then you don't have to choke him. No escape doesn't help. Gick.
With this position, it's hard
First
to pass up
strike.
Gick.
Right, because you just don't want to get beat down, and Isard is a liability.
Yeah, he's
But also,
Yeah,
like,
he's looking at the
he's
Gick.
looking at the Gick. But also Shizor on Lando is super tempting. All
Right.
right, we have World's Constellation results for you. In first place, how many games did they play? 6 games.
6
At
games.
6-0 is Corey Lauer. Congratulations to Corey for running the table on the Constellation and winning that. And in second place, as the top 5-1 player, is Greg Shaw. So Greg Shaw gets second. I will bite my tongue here from making a joke. And then the rest of the other 5-1 players were Logan Pitig, Andrew Moss, and Wayne Cullen. So congratulations to those 5 players for finishing out 5-1 or better, and Corey and Greg for taking first and second place.
Field of 37, very impressive.
37, getting consoled today.
Now I'm curious about the joke.
So, I mean,
About the joke about Greg Shaw getting second.
I didn't see what he ended up taking. I really think it's the Gick. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, you just play safe.
Yep.
You don't get beat down when you're in the position of winning. You're up by 11. You're in good control this game. You don't risk him. The same thing how Hayes had to go all in on that Vanny to in that last game. If Casey's in a spot where he has to go all in on like that Isard, and then he does, and Hayes doesn't have the answer and peels 15, like
Yep.
that's bad. So
Now Jasper gets the peek at the top two,
yeah.
and if there's a high destiny on top, he might force lightning.
No, it shuffles. You peek at two, you
Oh,
take one, and then you shuffle.
that's less good.
Yeah,
I forgot to
Ascension
do
Guns
it.
doesn't.
I forgot to do it each turn.
Is that 2 Emperors?
It is.
Yep.
He's like debating which card to take. This is just such gamesmanship by Hayes. He's like looking at the thing. Which one of these should I take to attack this? Da da da. It's 2 Emperors. Come on.
He's looking at each card.
Yeah.
It's like, I guess that one. Are you sure that it shuffles?
This is what we call Hollywooding.
Yes.
Taking lessons from Joe's improv classes.
He's still thinking about it.
No, he's not.
There he is. Okay, yeah, you do have
Okay.
to shuffle.
Let's scoot this a little closer. Bend over so much. Meh. I've ruined everything.
There you go.
Oh, well done. You solved our technology issue.
Well, notice that was a
What a reverse of
electronic
our
part.
normal rolls.
Well, this is an analog piece that I fixed. That's why.
Might as well think about all the other things you need to think about during the turn at that moment, though. Sure. When you're looking at 2 Emperors. I mean, maybe that's what he was doing, or maybe he takes one, shuffles, and thinks. I don't know. So pays 4 for Jasper, and then peaks.
I think we're going to need to see. I don't think he needs to do anything else but just put a bunch of dudes there.
Yeah, I mean, Lando's gonna be 12 power and 7 forfeit. You're not overflowing him.
Well, if an EPP, I was thinking like he
Oh,
definitely
he
has
has
them all.
So you go Maul, hit him, and then it'll be 7. Joss is 4. That makes 11. Erica's 5 because Luke's out. That makes 16 to 12.
And you just
And
lose
hits him.
Arca, who doesn't do anything.
Right. He's going Maul onto Qui-Gon, which means and there's a Phantom Menace, so they're both fairly immune. Dooku is less than 8,
And high
and Maul
DV.
totally.
Oh, he's going to
Force Lightning used to make sure that he hits him.
But that means Dooku definitely gets hit, but that's fine.
Yep. This is where I'd consider throwing Emperor to. I mean, nah, he probably doesn't have enough force. He has a lot of force. I'd consider throwing Emperor to Desert Landing Site so that you can start pulling that Force Lightning and to have it when you want it, to be able to use it, used or lost or whatever.
Casey still hasn't grabbed a card, right?
Casey has not grabbed anything.
That's the only concern.
He really should grab that. But he only has 1 force.
Jim Tom says, I'm trying to figure out why their cards aren't lighting up.
Yeah, I really missed the lighting up cards yesterday.
Oh, he swings and he draws a 1. 1. Oh my god. Even with the -4 from Force Lightning, he was only defense value 3 and misses. He was hoping to peek at those ones and take one of them with the...
I think a lot of people were playing Grappling Hook and Tentacle.
And gets 5/5. So he hits, I'm presuming Maul? I don't know who he was swinging at, but... Grappling Hook or Tentacle. Yeah, they were... I played both today. I think Hayes did not have Tentacle, but he did have Grappling Hook for sure today, and I had both. Like I said, we were a couple cards off. Since I wasn't starting Jury Juice, I was starting Grappling Hook. So Maul got hit because of 5/5 and missed Qui-Gon. So this is a bad turn for Hayes, a bad battle.
It feels
just
bad to
from
take
variance.
6/6 off the top and then have a 1.
He might just kill Qui-Gon anyway, though, so Casey doesn't have to peel a bunch because,
Oh, yeah.
well, no,Qui's Battle Destiny is +4 from his text. So he's a 10 and a Destiny versus
12 or
13 Dooku's +1, and then Maul will add 1, 14. 1/1.
1/1.
Yeah, he force lightning used and then
he
drew 1/1.
two
It was
previously.
a. Yeah.
Defense value two. Oh boy.
Oh yeah, two with the. Oh, he was defense value 2 because of the effect.
Yes.
So literally only a
Oh my
1/1
God.
misses.
That's ridiculous. He just drew.
Yeah, hey, thanks
Two for
Tony
Battle
for
Destiny.
chatting for being here watching.
You guys.
He should lose one from the
Yes, he
hit.
should.
Yeah. Can you tell them Qui-Gon's Saber makes Dark Jedi lose one for being hit?
Casey just draw a 0. He flashed a 0 at some point for Battle
Yeah,
Destiny.
he drew a 0.
He drew a 0 for Battle Destiny. Casey
But
did.
it's a 4.
Oh, duh. So it doesn't.
They got it. Okay, Desai said they got it.
Yeah. So he's still down by.
Oh, yeah, Hayes just said I did.
He's at 10.
Okay.
16.
Qui plus 4 from swings. Yep.
10.
It was
So
just a slow
16 to
response.
10.
Okay. He lost double back.
Hayes with his classic composure and dignity showing that he did lose his card.
That was his least favorite card.
After the game, we'll tell him he needs to lose one to Qui-Gon Saber. I saw.
Hey, you wanna get Hayes to sign a copy of that?
No. So he's peeling to keep Qui-Gon alive. He peeled, it looks like maybe 6-ish there, 5 or 6.
Yeah, he was down by 6.
Shouldn't Dooku also die?
No.
No, he's immune less than 8.
He lost his immunity from the. Oh,
Force
that's the
lightning
one-
used
yeah,
doesn't
yeah.
lose immunity, only lost.
Okay, nice.
Now the question is, does he? Oh, he lost to Luke as the last card, which means Lando's still a beast.
Mm-hmm.
He is gonna battle him. He's gonna pay 1 to retrieve with Lando. He'll be powered 12 to 9.
Lando's a 5, isn't he?
Lando's a power 6 plus 6. Yep. Yep, but they'll just trade. I mean, now he draws a 6. That would have been good to hit that Qui-Gon. And he draws a 2, so it's whatever. It trades a guy
Each
for a
lose
guy. And Hayes might as well lose Joss here. There's no benefit.
Josh is a defense value 6 though.
Joss
Way
is a
less
defense
forfeit,
value
though.
6, but he's only forfeit
I guess he's forfeit 6 with the
forfeit
icons.
6. Erica's 2 more power and 1 more forfeit.
Yep. I think Hayes is
He's
figuring that out.
she's 1 less defense value, but she's 2 more power and 1 more forfeit. So even, yeah.
Now Hayes knows where 6 is. I don't know if he's going to get to it.
Well, this is Hayes' turn,
Yeah, that's the problem.
Right. Yeah. So.
and the Hayes is the 6 is quite towards the top. It's gonna be like the 3rd card down. If he takes a drain, he could keep a 6 for the Dooku battle.
Force lightning, if he has it.
Oh yeah, force lightning with the effect out. He could zap. If he has it though, if he used it used, that's why I was saying Emperor out. But then if you grab it back, then you shuffle that 6 in. So.
Yeah, so tough to say.
If he had space, this could swing for him, but probably too late. He's still only activating 10. No, 11. Qui-Gon's out.
Yeah.
And he can Luke effect a card, but like if he needs to have 13 to go home 1 Akbar battle.
Yeah, that could still be good.
I mean, he still has plenty of life force. He's about to, but Casey has to pay for a drain of 3 here. That's the problem. Is he has to use 3 of his 10 force to drain. He does, like Justin's been saying. He's got to get to space. He's got to get that home 1, but like he can't do it in 1 turn. He needs to save force between turns and then deploy it. And Akbar's lost. Okay, so Stimpy saw Akbar go off the top. So it's just home 1, which is still enough. You're still immune less than 8. Hayes
Hayes has Zuckus and Mist Hunter.
Zuckus, sure. Yesterday I did Zuckus and Mist Hunter. And
he has that in hand, but yeah, it doesn't do.
I think Hayes is going to
much.
split to 2 systems here soon. But really, the key thing is Casey needs to be draining free because paying 3 of your 10 is. I mean, I feel like Casey's got to go for a battle here against Dooku, but that's what that other Gig was for, and he can upload force. He already used force push to grab a card, to grab the Gig. All right, so Ray's coming down on Erica.
Sure.
Hayes asks how much force left, and he decides to barrier.
Okay.
And then now comes the used pull. I wonder why the barrier. So he drained and then he played
Ray.
Ray. That's 7 force. So he only had 3 left. So it's like you might as well barrier. Well, I mean, do you care about Ray battling you? I guess if he thinks he's gonna get overflow. If he got Shizor, if he drew into Shizor, maybe he can just crush her.
Right.
I would have grabbed barrier. I think yes, but he's very tight on force. But he thought about grabbing barrier the first time. Now it's been played twice and it's still live. Um, yeah, Hayes is just playing a control game. He's just in completely dictating the pace of this game, and that's all goes back to that variance of Casey's just strapped on force. I mean, that's not his fault other than like choosing this deck and then not having, sort of getting not getting lucky or getting unlucky, however you want to put it.
Brutal.
Yeah, so all right, so he takes his used pull with Ray. He's got 3 force left. Not playing farm was a choice. Yes. As soon as I was like, oh, that's lost, was that top deck? And as soon as the side said from hand, I was like, that's a mistake. Like he should be getting 12 every turn. You were right. That was a choice, and that I think is costing him.
And meanwhile, Isar just pushing 2 for free all game.
Or at least the last turn or two. But yeah, no, it's
He just doesn't have like the resources to deal with her.
he's just holding a stunning. He's got a force lightning in hand. He's got a choke vader. He's got a Gick. He's just fully set with everything. Yep. That's why he pulled the Senate shield, and that's why he's just like, I don't want to lose my cards, and that's a good play. Because yesterday Casey did. I don't know if he's playing it today, but yesterday he had a sense recoil. Is he gonna battle with Qui-Gon is the question.
Yeah, there's no reason not to.
Right. Yeah, you need to do something because if you can survive and Dooku dies, you have a weapon, he doesn't. If you can survive, he dies. You're now
Your
setting up
Destiny's
another
plus
drain at
2,
3.
You're fully immune.
Oh yeah, your Destiny's +2 with the swing.
And you're fully
Drawn
immune.
8, he hits him, and he's gonna dark time it to make it a miss.
Yep.
Oh, so I was gonna say it would cause another force pain.
Oh yeah, that would cause a force loss if he had hit him.
That's.
Oh, he's going to sense it with his own do it or not out.
Shield.
Yep. So that's gonna.
That's worth it.
All right, he draws a 4. So order goes in. That Destiny. Then he tries to dark time. Then the sense Destiny. Then he loses 2 plus the sense is lost, and Dooku gets hit. So he's gonna top deck. Quite a merc. Sorry combo. Lose that sense, and Dooku's hit. Hayes really doesn't want to play this Gick, but he might have to. It's power 8 to 6 right now.
Yeah, you're counting the.
I'm counting the +2 for Qui-Gon. Qui-Gon's a 6 +2 to his total, and Dooku's a 5 +1 for a Jedi being there.
It's like 3, you just peel it.
So it's 6 to 8.
It's
Yeah.
like 5. You don't.
Hayes does have Force Lightning, but you don't want to try and blind draw a 6 or 7 to maybe avoid a couple overflow. You keep depends if he. I don't think he has this other Dooku, but he peels 1 from Force Pile to the Saber hit.
That must mean he
didn't he lose down to the 6. Yeah, you know what, he might have. If so, then he should have Force Lightning before battle.
Right.
Why didn't he Force Lightning before battle after like in control phase?
When Ray got done.
Yeah, he points to the effect. -1 zap. Yeah, after the Ray. Yeah, why did he let him battle?
Coming down.
That's weird.
Okay, it's stuck to. Yeah, having Dooku there just chilling still.
I mean, I guess that would have got sensed. He sucked out the sense first.
Oh.
It could have been that he.
That's very true.
He could have been thinking like, hey, if he has a sense, I'm gonna wait. But then, what if he didn't dark time? What if he just drew 5/5 to hit, didn't use the dark time, and then tried to zap and it got sense? Like I think
you try to do it before battle.
Yeah.
If he has a sense. So
I agree. I don't know why he didn't before battle. Well, the other thing is doing it lost. If he cancels with free ride combo, Dooku loses immunity and he's defense value -4 because he attempted it, and that's part of the cost of initiation. So then if it's free ride comboed, then it's easier to hit him. So he waited to see till after the hit. I guess that's one reason. I still don't like it. I still would have done it before battle, but that is a plausible thing.
So now it's just.
He just verified or something. He just showed a 0 from his deck. The last card in his deck is
Maybe
he
he's
flipped
listening
up.
to a drain.
But I don't know why he just.
Oh, he pulled that with Lisa.
Oh, okay, thank you. Yep, he said thanks, Derek.
So are we gonna see just choke Vader?
And he just loses it to the drain at the system, and now he's going to take a drain of 2 at the Endor funeral pyre. I start paying her respects. Oh, you thought Dooku only worked in battle? No, that's the best part of him. You just like out of battle, move in front of him, zap him. Yeah, you agree that he should have done it before. Yeah, I think so. And you risk his defense value getting lowered. I mean, maybe not, because then maybe if he misses the swing, then you just draw the 6 for Battle Destiny, and you're still holding the Force Lightning and attract 6, and you go, I'm power 12, you're power 8 in a Destiny, and you didn't have to risk it. But then you risk him getting hit like he did, so I don't know.
There's no way. I don't know.
Alright, Hayes checks his reserve somehow.
With
Nolhada.
Jawless Palace too.
Or Jawless Phallus. Very mixed. Some 1s, some 4s, some 6s. And I think we're going to see Rey get beat up a little bit here.
Yep.
Hayes also only on 2 battlegrounds now for resistance.
Wooher.
Wooher comes
the
out.
powerhouse.
He says, nope, maybe not. He's sort of uncertain for a moment here. Did you see that?
Yeah.
Little weird. I need to calm down. So this game slowed down a little bit. It's like I said, it's sort of a chess match. And Hayes just playing control tempo. Wonder what he's agonizing about here. He says,
Does
okay.
not look happy.
Yeah. There's a P59. He's going choke Vader there. Emperor there. So that'll get him back to the 3 battlegrounds for resistance. He's still got his Gick in hand, so like.
Pick 4.
P59? Yep, so that's why he couldn't Dooku. Or I mean, why he couldn't woo her. Because woo her would kill the droid in the cantina. So he decides not to woo her. Battles. Shoots Rey. Draws a 5.
Hits.
She's hit.
Field 2.
Not forfeit. He goes to move P59. Hit. Rey's hit. Casey loses 2. They share a chuckle.
Good camaraderie.
He peels a
Chewie
Chewie
and
and a Luke. And then we'll see Battle Destiny here. Rey's gonna add 1. Light's immune, Dark's immune less than 4 on both characters. Light's immune less than 3. Casey's thinking he pays 1 to Walkling while he's still at 2 battlegrounds. Coward is not out, so that part doesn't matter so much. But he Walklings back to Luke, so he's got a 6 tracked. And Hayes draws a 4. And a 6 is drawn. So P59 won't cover. Erica covers 7. So Hayes could lose P59 first, then Erica, but not the other way around. So if he wants 3 battlegrounds, which he does, he'll lose Erica and keep P59.
With the Gick, that's the right call. And that
Yep.
goes back to the previous turn. If you kept
Force.
Jasper instead of Arica, it would have killed both.
Oh,
I think he's only 4'6".
yeah, and he drew a 6 plus Ray added 1/7.
Mhm.
Correct. Yeah, so if he had kept Jasper, it would have killed both. He's got 1/6/4 or something.
1, 6, 4, 6.
Two sixes. Okay. Um, Here we're gonna see Light probably pay to drain for 2. I think taking that Gick
That was money.
with Force Push was just so clutch.
Because you just feel so safe.
Yeah, he can just.
And playing the second Gick today,
So he pulls a Force Lightning with Emperor. In case he's activating. Casey wants to get in a beatdown, but of course that Gick is a problem for it.
and
I don't know how he's going to get Hayes down below 11 without that.
the activation,
Right.
he needs to get in
While
2
getting 10.
beatdowns.
He's got to get to space. Um, he doesn't need to get Hayes below 11. No, he needs to win by more than 11. Thank you. Yeah. Right. He's not winning paying to drain 3. Yeah, and it's only 2 with resistance. But even if he knocked him off, even if he trades, even if he knocked him off 1 and was draining 3 and 2 versus 1 and 2, it's yeah. 9 activation, no Walkling is gone. You're right. You're right. Good call. Casey drew more activation. I like not playing the farm. Yeah, maybe. And that was my speculation. Is he just ditched farm from hand? I was like, maybe he just drew into all his activation that turn, but he didn't have any at that point. Yeah. You're right. Without Walkling, it's 9 now, and the Qui-Gon's gone too. So it had gone up to 11 for a second, and then the Qui-Gon died, and the Walkling's gone, and now it's back to 9. All right, so Anakin comes out for 5, and he says, "You have a response." He says, "No response." And he pays 4 for Ray to Isart. He's just trying to knock out a bunch of the damage. If he can.
The problem is he's not doing any damage. Like he couldn't pay to drain, so it's like whack-a-mole.
Right. If Anakin survives and P59 dies, if Hayes draws low, like it misses a shot and draws like a 1 for Destiny, whatever, then it's like he knocks him off resistance, and Hayes is draining 1 and 1, and he's draining 3 and 2. But it's like Hayes has a hand full of like Choke Vader and whatever. He's got more stuff.
Yeah.
And that's the problem. Is we also know Hayes has a Jabba's Palace revive.
Right.
So like
so
Arica could come back,
yeah.
and like it. Yeah, Tom says you pretend Hayes doesn't have the Gick because you're not beating Gick, and that's right. You have to get extra beatdowns. Like
Right, yeah, you just
so
gotta
you got to get through 3 beatdowns, and on 9, 10, 11 activation, that's not possible.
battle there.
So he battles. He pays 1 to retrieve 1 with what? What draw their fire first strike? Oh, Leia. Leia's at a battleground, so it doesn't matter that Rey is not.
Correct.
Yep. So he retrieves with Leia. He says, "Ooh, fancy." And then I think they just draw Destiny. That becomes a 6 with Ray. That's 10. That's a 1. So that is power 3, and she forfeits 5. He's gonna peel 2.
And I think peeling is correct here for sure.
Oh, and you peel that Shizor so you can Jabba's Haven it and put that on top of Anakin.
Yep.
If he survives.
It's annoying that Ray lives because
you can't Erica back on top.
Ray being stranded there is fine also.
Right. If Ray dies here, you're like, cool, Erica. So he's gonna peel 2, and I think he's gonna peel that Shizor to give him lines for Jabba's Haven beat down on. Maybe not. Looks like maybe not. Casey should probably lose right here. Yeah, I guess with AK he doesn't. Yeah, that she protects it at least. So Jim Tom live in Washington. Are you going to the Endor Grand Prix? I think I heard he moved down to Oregon, but either way, it's very close. But he has said he doesn't really attend in-person events due to a medical condition currently. But hopefully someday we will see him at an event.
I'll build him a bubble boy costume.
So we should. He
Battle
has
free with
stunning leader
Anik.
in his hand. Yeah, there he goes a Caesar.
Yep.
What I'm expecting is a stunning leader, retrieves Caesar, and then counter beat.
Yeah, stunning leader, the Anakin battle. No force to move Anakin away, and then Jabba's Haven. Yep, Jabba's Haven, the Shizor.
And without a Hugix, that'll just about do it. Nice to
Are
Wooper.
we sure Hujix is gone?
No, we're not. I'm just saying.
Yeah, he would need that.
Oh, he just
He
shot
shot
him.
him?
I think
Didn't stunning leader.
Sure, whatever. That's fine too. Lose two
Does
more.
2 damage. Yeah, and he can come back if Anakin's. Oh, he won't survive because he was shot. Okay. Now he has a 6 tracked.
Yeah, that's very good.
He draws a 6 with Anakin. He draws a 1. Hayes is feeling destinies. Yeah, I would have liked the stunning leader there and into Shizor, because you would have got even more overflow. But
And lose nothing.
yeah, I mean he keeps the stunning for a future battle. How much is he gonna have to peel? Anakin's 5 plus, so he's 11 to 5. He covers for his 9, so 2
Two.
more.
Meh.
But now he's down to draining 1 and 1.
Yeah, he's only doing 1 and 1. Yeah, I
mean,
think the stunning leader was the right
I
play
think
there.
so. In retrospect, I mean, if he had missed a shot and then drawn the 6, he doesn't peel any and still kills Anakin. And if he hits both, he
But I like killing Anakin for free and not losing anything.
not losing anything.
And then with activating 9, it's harder to battle back into
Yeah,
that.
and you can use the stunning because you still have the Gick.
But he's just going to put more guys at the cantina, and it's going to be the same
Yep.
problem.
Yep. Like you said, whack-a-mole. He's got that 6 too. He could also just like Erica, choke Vader to the
Yep.
onto Ray and just choke her and then another guy into the cantina and just be like free Maul, move Maul into the cantina while Erica and choke Vader go kill her, and now you're at all these locations again, threatening a bunch of damage again.
Yeah.
It all the tempo is just with Hayes. Casey's trying to catch up. So he checks his reserve. It is that 6. He did not miss track. He will Jabba's Haven and take Erica.
So he's got Erica. I think he's had choke Vader all game. So
Drain 1. Luke off the top. Drain 1 at the system. Luke off the top. Erica. For. Do you just only pay 4? 5. Okay. And is that 5 for
So so what I
Vader?
need to see now is Maul.
6 for Vader.
Yep, there he comes.
2
Perfect.
for Maul.
Exactly what you said.
Who could have seen that coming? Now you're gonna battle. I think you just choke, right? Boop.
Yep.
Dead.
And so now
Move
he's
Maul
got
in.
3, 4, 5.
And says, go
6.
ahead.
Now he's threatening 7 damage.
7, right. And so Maul's the biggest one, obviously, but
He's not
attacking
easy to
into
fight
Maul
into.
is annoying. Like, you're probably going to lose 2 dudes, so you have to trade 1 for 1, but Maul is essentially an 8. Casey's still got a lot of life force somehow.
Like 16, 17?
Yeah.
His problem is
But
he's just not
his
doing
board
damage.
state, he's not, right, he's doing at most 2 damage.
And he hasn't
while
paid
he's
the
eating
drain.
at least 2 plus.
He hasn't paid the drain in like 3 or 4 turns because he's.
I think he did. He didn't last turn, but I thought he was before that. Tom says, you scoop here. It's like that line in did you watch that show, The Queen's Gambit?
I've not seen that.
She was like playing chess and whatever, and she had like lost her queen, and the dude who was teaching her was just like, "You resign now."
Oh,
He just told her, he was just like, "You resign now." It's like, out of
that's funny.
this is Tom saying, "You scoop here." Awesome show. Yeah, it was fun. It was a good little mini series. So, like, there's not a lot of room for sequels, which is good. Not everything needs to have a bunch of
Yeah,
seasons and whatever. It was a nice little.
I like shows that tell a tight story and then stop before it gets like
Yeah,
just
yeah. It did
drones
that.
on
You
too
would
long.
like it. You should watch it.
So this is the turn where
Let's
Kate
see. How's he got to? He's got to respond to
solved
this.
the riddle,
He's
right?
gonna lose 7, but I don't even know what he doesn't have enough in his hand to.
And the characters that Hayes has out now, and he has a 6 on top.
Station 11. I don't know that reference. Is that a Battlestar Galactica reference?
Which one?
Station 11.
No, and I have no idea.
That's a one season tight show. Okay.
Oh,
I haven't
cool.
heard of it.
Thanks
Is
for the
it
rec.
is it
I'll
like a
definitely give that a
sci-fi?
watch.
All right, so Dr. Lux has 3 cards, 9 activation, not much you can do. Yeah, he has 3 in hand.
And Hayes has
Facing
a
a
6
6 on top of
so
Hayes' deck.
Vader and
Right. So Vader can choke with a 6. Emperor can force
Force
lightning.
Lightning.
Um, Maul can swing and hit anybody. Like, yeah, how do you crack that?
And that's the problem. I think this is the turn where Casey's back is broken.
Yeah. Like, if it's just solo, you don't even need to. Okay, are you gonna battle into me? I just draw a 6. I'm power 10.
Yeah,
You
four
draw
to
a
four.
5. You're 9. You die.
Yeah,
Like,
you last night.
you don't force lightning. You don't do anything here. You just go, okay, cool, solo, sure, bring it on. Like, Hayes is right now in the tank trying to remember what is in Casey's lost pile. Like,
Oh yeah, yeah.
because as soon as solo comes out, you're like trying to review, think through, but can't think of anything scary.
I mean, yeah, because and that was my fear with Luke over at the AC this game.
Is there a Nabrin? I don't think so. I didn't see one yesterday, but even if there was one, having the force to like Nabrin and swing and do everything, but also like where's he gonna Nabrin to and do much? Plus we know Hayes has the Gick. There's like 3 problems with that plan. Yeah, Gick combo could cancel it, or he could just let him battle and Gick out of it. Like he's force lightning Han. Why? Maybe there is something in Lost that Hayes is worried about. We'll ask him about this on the interview
Sure.
afterwards.
So there's no downside really. It's just he doesn't
There's
need to
no
use
upside.
it.
He can keep it in hand. If solo battles and retrieves one with Leia, you go okay, and you draw your track 6. I'm power 10, and
He's peeling 3
he's
for.
sensing.
That's so
Well,
rough.
now if you sense it, Emperor's lost his immunity, and you kill Emperor.
Cool.
It's still rough to lose that, but
What
you
is
lose
he
2.
hoping is in there?
The downside is you've wasted the Force Lightning, whereas you could just let him battle with the only solo, and then you flip a 6 for Destiny, and you're power
Yep.
10, and solo is 4 in Destiny.
Oh, and
Oh,
Cassian.
Cassian.
Hilarious. So this is why you don't force lightning then.
Yeah. Well, I
I
mean,
guess
he
it
would have
didn't
sensed
matter.
it anyways, yeah. So he battles, retrieves, pays 1 to retrieve with Leia. Um, Emperor's going to cover 9
13.
plus 4 is 13,
To
and then
8
it's
plus destiny,
to
right?
8 plus Destiny. So he's probably not peeling any. It's just Emperor's going to die.
And then
This
yeah.
is fine. It's fine for both. I mean, I think Casey has no hand now, though.
Yeah, and Hayes is gonna drain him for 6 next turn.
Right. Hayes drains for 6 and draws a couple, and then Casey what? Spends his turn drawing?
Yeah, he's gonna drain for 6 twice before
He
Casey
draws a
can do
2.
anything about it. Draws a 1.
He draws a 1.
So Emp covers.
And
Oh,
then are you going to cancel with, of course
it
you
feels
cancel with
bad.
Cassian, because otherwise you'd lose
You
one
have to
of
lose a
them.
guy. It feels bad canceling a 1, but sometimes you gotta.
Yeah, there's no difference there between canceling 1 and 6. So if he missed the Force Lightning, he didn't have a 6 on top?
Yeah, he would have missed with
He
that
would have missed a
1.
Force Lightning.
Yeah, I don't know how we missed
You
what
kill
happened to
Han
that
because
6.
Han doing something you're not expecting is the only way you lose. Yeah, but I don't know there's anything in Lost that.
With the Gick, there's nothing I'd be worried about, but sure.
Right.
I don't hate that decision either.
So Emperor dies. Those everyone lives. Light's now gonna threaten a drain of 3 and 2,
Oh,
and
that's right.
Casey concedes because Hayes is about to drain for 6. We will be back in about a minute, 2 minutes with Hayes Hunter for an interview. So if you want to hear an interview with him, hang around just a couple minutes. He'll want a minute to chat with his opponent and whatever, and people will congratulate him. But we'll do an interview with Hayes in about 2 minutes.
Yeah, yeah. Just to let you guys know, can you take a picture of him by the TV,
Yeah,
by
I
the
got it.
thing, and then I
Light up. Oh, there we go. That's me.
Yours is good.
Okay. Um, all right, everybody. Hey, they're Hayes is they're making him do a picture for Facebook and social medias and
Already
stuff.
done.
Um, so that he's still over there. I'm bringing him over for an interview here. Uh, Hayes Hunter has won the 2023 Star Wars World Championship, and this was his year. He of course won the U.S. National Championship back in April-ish, plus or minus a month. No, it must have been April because there was no OCS in April in honor of his win. Um, and
Wow.
and we're having no OCS in July in honor of his win. So if
August.
you August, whatever month we're in. So if you want OCSs, you need to make sure Hayes stops winning events. um,
Who do you want first, Hayes or Casey? You want Hayes or
uh,
Casey first?
let's do Casey first.
Casey, you first.
Casey's
I'm
gonna
gonna
come
give you the
over.
interviews, Joe, 'cause there's only one headset.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's. Am I going with Joe?
Here.
Is this in the
How
way?
about time? No, I was looking for a garbage.
Did I just mess everything up?
What?
Oh,
No, we're great. Everything's great. Don't worry, Scott.
It's still working?
He just unplugged something.
Oh. I think that's he unplugged Scott unplugged something and was worried he'd mess something up, but I think that was just a mainstream main camera where
Does
our
this
face
work?
is still showing, I think.
This whole
Casey, hello.
Hi, Joe.
How you doing?
I'm a little tired.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Did you sleep last night?
Probably more than most of the top 8.
You stuck with the same decks for the most part, couple card changes?
Made some changes. Yeah. Kyle helped me out. I know he ditched out on you guys to help with that.
Oh,
he was.
it just went doo whatever you just did.
Oh,
I think cut off.
Stand by. Yeah, it's.
Could we not mess with the streaming setup until
You're
we're
fine.
done with the
You guys are
interviews?
fine. I'm unplugging
Okay.
the right stuff.
Okay, I heard it. Oh, so you unplugged something else and then I heard it. I gotcha.
Yes.
Okay, cool. Sorry about that.
All good.
Yes, Kyle
Um,
came and helped you. You made some card changes. What made you decide to stick with those, the Pyre and the Hunt Down?
Those were the decks I knew the best.
Okay. And you just thought I'm gonna roll. So one concern I had when I was commentating was they're very high variance decks, right? If you Hunt Down, you get your activation. The Pyre deck, you get your activation, you're feeling good, and if you don't, you're not. Did that concern you?
No, so I was joking with Hayes about this. I don't consider myself to be an elite Star Wars CCG player compared to, the Joe Olsons of the world or the Johnny Chews of the world. And I sort of think that if I am going to have, or even the Hayes Hunters of the world, and I think that if I am going to have a chance to win Worlds, it's going to have to be high variance.
I think I might disagree with you there, and that you're underselling yourself a little bit because you made Worlds day 3. What was it? 3 of the last 5 times you played in Worlds.
That's right.
So 60% success rate at making day 3. A lot of people would love to make their first day 3. And of course, making a finals, running through Johnny Chew, 2-time world champion, Brian Fred, one of the greats to play. I might disagree with you on what needing variance to win, but it certainly seemed like it was working for most today, until that last game, I guess. Let's go ahead and talk about those games. How were you? Talk to me about the first game.
So you're talking about the first game against Hayes.
The first game against Hayes. Yeah. Should we go back further than that? Let's just do the finals.
Yeah, I can't remember.
Yeah.
further than that.
So first game against Hayes, you were Hunt Down and he's Obi. You don't need to go play by play. People can go watch that. But just how did you feel? What are your impressions?
So I knew going in that he was trying to shield bust.
How did you know that?
What?
Was it because it was on stream and word just got out?
Yeah, I heard about the beggar thing against.
28 force beggar against Jellison. Yeah. Okay.
So I had a good idea, and then so I knew okay. I didn't know going in he was trying to shield bust. I knew about beggar.
Yeah.
And I knew that Hayes is the kind of guy who always plays a couple of tech cards. It was intruder missile last time around, and I figured, okay, now it's beggar, but beggar is shielded. So if beggar is shielded and it's beggar, it has to be shield busting. And then I think turn 2 against me, he played Gunite, and I was like, oh, okay. So I didn't, I was resigned to the fact that I wasn't going to play a grabber straight away, going to figure out what I needed. Opening hand, I had cold feet, so first action I was able to get the grabber for
Nice.
free. Um, I figured I'd be good from there with 4, rando shields. And
Yeah, and that stuff never really came into play in your game then, huh?
yeah, I actually ended up having a shield pull. He top decked, the way the game went on with the overflow, he top decked his Revo. I was very worried about Revo for a beatdown on Vanny on the Executor. The nice thing about the shield busting strategies that Hayes was using was, Beggar, Revo, Gunite. These are all cards that you don't have to preemptively pull a shield. It's not like, Goldenrod or
Weapon
something like
Lev.
that. Weapon Lev, exactly. Right? I can wait for him to play the card, and then I have an action I can take where I can pull the shield. So as long as I make sure I don't run out of shields, I'll be good to go then.
Yep.
Leading into the high variance, uh, like you said, I knew that my goal in that game was to get a beatdown. I did get the beatdown. Um,
Do you
I
play Gick in there?
don't play Gick.
No, you don't play it at all. So Vanny's just a liability, and you just YOLO it.
I don't play Gick at all. I was playing Monarch and Grimtash prior to the Drop Throne Brax shields.
Uh huh.
And when I was playing Monarch and Grimtash, I was playing
Masterful to pull them.
Masterful,
Hit again.
Escape Pod, and I was playing Hujix and Gick in all my decks along with that.
So you had no Hujix in the light side either.
No.
You were just naked. Did you have Lana combo, Odin combo, that sort of thing to protect forfeit? Anything?
No.
Wow. Just balls to the wall. Right on.
So I tell this story a lot. I want to tell it now. It's one of my favorite Star Wars CCG moments that I witnessed. I did not take part in it. But years ago, I was listening in on Conversation at Worlds between Justin Desai and Kevin Shannon, talking about the philosophical East Coast West Coast Star Wars CCG differences. And I think Kevin and Aaron Nelson were playing 2 Gicks and 2 Hujix in each of their Worlds decks. And Justin says to Kevin, you guys play a lot of cards that let you lose battles. We like to play cards that let us win battles. And I've always gravitated more towards
And that speaks very
that philosophy.
much to their play styles. Kevin Shannon, a very a careful, deliberate, cautious player, and Justin Desai, a very aggressive player. And both Desai's won Worlds 3 times, and Shannon twice. So both multi-time Worlds winners, but 2 very different philosophies there. I like how you sort of identified one of those and went I like that one. I'm gonna lean into that. Cool. All right, so game 1, you trade off the beatdowns and lots of draw their fire first strike stuff happens. He ends up winning by 11. What are you thinking going into game 2?
Thinking I gotta get another beatdown. We played this matchup yesterday. We were joking about it. We were matched up in round 1 of the Swiss. It was this exact matchup. Neither of us switched decks. The Funeral Pyre deck against his Tatooine
SSA.
SSA. I don't
Yeah,
know what you
Jabba's
guys
Palace,
call it.
whatever.
Do you have a better name for it than that?
DLS SSA is what I have it named in Chimp. Desert Landing Site, slip sliding away. But
Okay.
yeah.
So it was that exact matchup the first game of the weekend. It ended up being that exact matchup the last game of the weekend. And I had sort of eked out a win by one card?
against him and 2 against me.
Right, one
Yeah.
card. It was win by 1 in that first game yesterday. And obviously that wasn't going to cut it now. Hayes in that first game yesterday had run into some really tough luck where he got all of his sites that he pulls turn 1 normally in his force pile on turn 1. So he was activating, I think, 8 turn 2 instead of 13. He got a slow start.
It's sort of the opposite of what happened.
Sort of
in
the opposite of what
finals to
happened
you
today.
two.
And I still only won the game by 1. So I figured if I was going to win this one
By 12 plus.
by 12 plus, I had to get a beatdown. So early on in the game, I get a verify. I see that his Git combo is in his reserve deck. That was when he had just moved Hondo over with 4 Lam, so that was when I came down with Jin, Leia, Qui-Gon to try to get a beatdown there. It obviously didn't go well, even before he had the second Gik, because I drew Boss Nass Chambers for Leia's gun, Destiny, just not being able to get any sort of activation,
Mm-hmm.
sites not where I want them, any of that. But then he did have the second GIC, which he had said, and he can talk more about this. He had said was
We just added
the
this
you,
morning.
you
Yep.
guys added it this morning, the second GIC combo. So at that point, I knew it was going to be an uphill climb. I was focused on. I had home one in my opener. I was focused on getting home one to the system.
So you could drain free and.
Right. I
Yep.
didn't want to do it until I had Akbar. I finally got a leadership with a use pile search where I had a window to do that. Akbar wasn't in my deck the turn I did that. I sort of had a feeling that it was one of the bottom couple cards on my force pile. Um, and then I guess I mistracked or something. I didn't realize I'd used a force I had used, and I didn't realize I must have shuffled my reserve deck, and it ended up being one of the top few cards of my reserve deck, and I top decked it.
Mm-hmm.
So that was unfortunate. Um,
Well, and you were activating 10, most of the 10 from stuff. When Qui-Gon was out for a little bit, it was 11, and then he died, and then Walkling got popped in, so then
Yep.
you were down to 9, and it's like you needed even multiple turns to get that out with just the bad luck on the. Yeah, so cool. So yeah, the finals didn't end up going your way, but amazing run up until then. How are you feeling about the game in general, the meta, the everything else?
so it's funny going into the game or going into the weekend. I don't think we had a great idea of what the meta necessarily was, what the top decks were, um, and I had gone to boot camp. I need to give a shout out to
Kendall,
Kendall and Carl
yeah,
and
Brad,
Chad, Travis, Brad, Dan, all the boot camp guys.
sounded like a lot of
Um,
fun.
it was a blast. But the idea was we got a wide open meta. We're going to go into that weekend and we're going to figure out what the best decks were. And coming out of that weekend, I said I have no idea what the best decks are, and I guess we'll figure out at Worlds. And coming out of this weekend, I still don't know what the best decks are.
Yeah,
I
mean,
think it's
but
still
that's
a
kind
wide
of
open
fun,
meta.
right?
Yeah.
Like, I think we've got a few months till Endor Grand Prix, and there's going to be a lot of iterating. We got one more month of OCS. If you are not signed up for the OCS, we got starting September 1st is the last month. It's $10 to sign up, and so we got another month of that, and then playoffs. I think this year is the Outrider Cup, so we'll see that. But yeah, it should be fun discovering sort of what is the best decks because I'm right there with you. There's a lot of viable stuff.
All right. Joe, thank you so much.
Hey, dude, thank you. Congrats on the awesome run, man.
Thank you.
All right, Jeff is going to grab Hayes, and we'll interview him next. If anyone has any questions for Hayes, feel free to post in the chat. I'll tell him the entire chat says congrats, Hayes.
That'd be a good name for that deck in there with something to do with Woo Her.
Woo her, I barely know her. That sort of thing, yeah.
Woo Her's Palace, maybe?
Why didn't he play any rocks? Ask why Hayes denied the interview yesterday. It's a long day. So like coming when you've just had long grindy game and then being like, "Hey, can you come talk for a little bit?" Sometimes you're just like, "I just need a minute to like take a breath." So,
Yeah, thank you.
but I'm making him do now.
The angle was
What's
off.
his body count?
Oh yeah, I appreciate
25
you,
years in the
giving
making.
stuff, yeah.
Everyone says congrats. You got so many congrats in the
Yeah,
chat.
yeah. Anybody that's texted me or whatever, can you move your lanky legs so I can get in here?
Wait, he has lanky legs?
We went to get some food and they put us in the tiniest booth in our meeting. Do I have to put this on?
Yes.
Oh no.
You can't make any faces though, or they'll become a meme.
Okay.
Hi.
Hi.
How you doing?
I'm great.
Yeah?
Yeah.
How you feeling?
So like a week ago I was at Gen Con and I'm playing this other card game and there's not a ton of like competitive players in this other card game. So I'm cleaning up and it's my tournament to lose or whatever. And we get into the semifinals and my opponent is very, very eager to like advance.
Yeah.
And a couple of us are talking and I'm like, I don't really care. Do you want to go? And he's like, yeah, I do. And so I conceded to him in the semifinals, and he went on and won the tournament. So great for him. And it made his day. Like he was thrilled. it put things in perspective. And I talked to Steve Skelton, and Show was there, and my friend Dan Sacco, and I was like, you know what? I've been doing these types of games for a very, very long time, and this is the one that I really wanted. I'm gonna have so much more fun at all of these tournaments now that I don't have to like really try. Like, I mean, I'm still gonna like, obviously compete, but like,
You're
man,
still a competitive person.
yeah, yeah,
but
a
it's,
hundred
once
percent. And I'm absolutely gonna want to like support the team or whatever. Team 5, I love you guys. I love all you guys that are Team 5. Um, yeah, man. Like, I walked into the weekend recently saying, I didn't really care. Like, I'm just happy to be here, and whoever wins, it's well deserved. But man, to win Worlds when there's 69 people is super nice.
Oh yeah.
Um, so,
I think there's a lot of the community who was there was a discussion thread in Slack about a week ago saying like, it'd be cool if we got a new champion. A lot of people saying, it'd be great to see Bfred win one. A lot of people saying it'd be great to see you win one. I think a lot of people,
Still awesome.
Thank you.
are yeah, happy to see you take one home. This is your year. You just won nationals. Do you want to talk about any games?
You have to ask me about them.
Game one of the finals.
Sure.
Actually, let's talk about the decks in general first.
Okay.
Obi busting. What the fuck?
Yeah.
I mean, what the heck?
Yeah, I definitely like called my brother and my parents, and my mom's like, "Oh, you're about to do an interview, great!" And I'm like, "Yeah." She's like, "Send me the
Is
link."
she
I'm
gonna
like,
be scandalize your friend?
"She's gonna be
first?
watching this."
Oh
She's gonna be
no!
like that Joe Olsen. He's such a bad influence. So we obviously the changes leading up to Worlds were much different. I was against the last minute errata to Rops in OA because we had been prepping with
we had solved
right
yeah.
the initial batch of erratas or whatever tweaks were done. The set was out. I was like, okay, the stage is set. Let's win this environment. And then for that change up that a month in advance, that was a lot more. It created a lot more work because the way the dominoes fall, right? If OA is not a deck, then that means more aggro decks can succeed in the environment. So that means like 0 is kind of worse. And it just all the machinations and stuff. So just dark side, the TLDR is forever in history. Everybody always plays the most efficient activation package, and I mean, there's a reason why Tom always plays that deck. It's because you activate a ton, and that you give up so many. Who cares? It's like Throne Room, right? I mean, back in the day, IAO mob points was dominant. It was just simple, easy, efficient activation. Like, everyone played Throne Room because it was a huge activation disparity and you got to play all the best characters. So this is the most efficient way to do that now. It's just the most efficient platform. You can, for like, like the ideal turn is like, okay, Hondo for 3, Maul for 0 or 2, Slave 1 for 6, move Maul over, and all of a sudden you have battle order, resistance. I mean, it's just really, really, really efficient. Yeah, and evasion and counter beats and activating a ton, and they have to respect what's in your hand. When your hand is always big and you're always activating 20, they're like, you have to weigh the negatives. They become much more severe. So, yeah, the dark deck was just really good, really solid. It's doesn't have
So
any bad
now that
lines.
you've answered my question about Obi Muni busting,
Hey, I'm like Abe Simpson, man. I'll get there when I get there.
you got
okay?
an onion in your belt.
Yeah, it was the fashion at the time. So light side, tons of testing, and meta obviously shaken up. People are looking at walkers and whatever. You have to talk about dark before you can talk about light. That's how you build a good light deck. And
Because dark goes first
that is
by
rule.
rule. You have to talk about dark first.
Well, it's just in everything. Like, we couldn't, like, it was. I think people were testing things that weren't Obi because they just wanted to see how stuff, shook out in the environment. But we were like, what? Why is OB worse? Like, what makes it bad? Like, okay, there's a shield. Okay, so
The effect got errated, so it couldn't add delays
I
gun
know,
and stuff. And Luke, I'm just mentioning for
okay, for the viewers.
and Master Luke got errated, so he had to be alone to do his effect.
Yeah.
But so it took some minor hits post your nationals win.
Yeah.
But yeah, we as a team still thought it was the best lace.
Yeah, absolutely. But what we, and just in testing, it was very obvious that like, Grabber gets pulled almost automatically. Everyone's always pulling the restriction shield so that you have to go to the farm first or whatever. And then oftentimes, OB muting, it's very safe to lead with a guy because you got to use pull. The threat of evasion plus the revive, it's like, does Dark really want to expend resources to make you revive? So you get battle order pulled. Anyway, we just were like, wow, lots of shields get pulled very quickly. That ain't bad. Wait, what else can we do with this? So enter Gunite, Harvest, Revolution, Beggar. We had a build. There was a couple different iterations, but basically, I don't know, a month
we
ago.
had the sense recoils.
Yeah,
Tremor
sense
and the
recoils.
Force.
Yeah, oh yeah, Tremor and the Force, man. That's like time walk. You put that in and it goes off once. Like, man, can you imagine getting like a free turn in the finals where they go to activate and they just stop after 3? Like, there's a whole bunch of like degenerate stuff that you can just Lost in the Wilderness. Had a weapon 11 years
Until
at a
this
time
morning.
until this morning because we're like, anything to pull shields to really punish them for that. So, yeah, we tested it. We're like, oh my god, this thing has legs, and everyone loved it. Everyone that I've talked to about it's like, that's amazing, and the whole team wanted to play. And I'm like, no, this is the day 2 deck.
Yeah, we saved it. We saved it in reserve for day 2.
Yeah.
Good decision.
Oh, absolutely. I mean,
it's
yes
hard
and
to
no.
argue with results.
Yes and no. I mean, poor Jellison. I love Jellison so much. He's such a good deck builder, and he always plays like off meta stuff, and he does such good work on design. But man, he busted on my first turn.
Yeah.
Like his turn, he played 3 shields, and then on my turn, activate 10. I'm like, oh, I could spend 5. Wait, did you want to play the shield? He's like, yes, and I'm like, thank you, Gunite. Draw. I've never.
It was a 28 force.
24, 28. I don't know. I was like, man, how much force do you have left? So I just kept playing cards from my hand. Not very synergistic with use pile pulls when you have like
You're
4
like,
cards in
can
your
I
use
use
pile.
pull from your
Yeah.
use
So,
pile?
but yeah, I mean, it was just fun to play. I mean, obviously, it worked out to our benefit that we played in the initial round because that meant that was the first game I played with it, and he was completely blindsided.
Yeah.
Obviously, Casey, his first action of the game is cold feet, and I'm like, oh darn,
Yeah.
I guess someone told him.
Yeah. Once it's scouted, it's less valuable.
Yeah, but it's just Eric. We don't need to explain this to Eric. All right.
Eric's so out of loop. He's like, Master Luke got errated.
Yeah.
Okay, so you got your decks. We don't need to go game by game. I'm sure you'll write a tournament report. Hint, hint. Looking forward to that. Overall thoughts, impressions of the weekend, the game right now, the community. Anything else you want to say before we get going? Because we only have this space and got to start packing up stuff. But
I mean, I'm on cloud 9. Like, I love everyone. Everyone is great. I thank you all for being here. I do want to eat dinner.
Okay, that's allowed. And you're gonna stay up for games all night?
Is that even a question?
Sunday night games. If you come to majors, book your ticket out for Monday because we stay up all night Sunday night playing games as long as you can last.
Or just drive.
Yeah, we are Endor major weekend before Halloween.
And again, thank you everybody. I really appreciate your support, and this community is the effing best.
Are you ready to come on Holo Theater on Thursday?
Sure.
Congrats, dude.
Thanks. I love you.
Sign off.
I don't know how to sign off. I'm signing off. Dan's gonna sign off. I unsign off.
Okay, everybody. So that is it for the 2023 World Championships. Again, big congrats to everybody who made the top 8, but special congratulations to the biggest man in New Jersey right now, Hayes Hunter. Till and the Endor Grand, everybody, again, the European Championships will be this September. Make sure you guys stay tuned to that. October, Endor Grand Prix. We got the OCS still going on. Play your games. Hayes Hunter has already said he's going to be on Holo Theater, so just make sure you guys tune into that. Until this Thursday, take care, enjoy yourselves, enjoy the rest of your weekend, and have a good one. And as always, may the force be with you. Good night, everybody.